this defense that has had some problems thus far in this year. They need to step up and try to play tougher and also create turnovers.
Jared Williams will put the ball in play as we'll see this Northeastern offense for the opening time tonight. Short kickoff. Fair catch called for. No fair catch. I beg your pardon. As it's Isaiah McKenna on the return for Northeastern. And McKenna will set his team up in good field position out near midfield. And Northeastern will begin their opening drive of the game from almost plus territory.
Well, that's the danger of those sky kicks right there. Excellent field position for Northeastern. Perfect response on special teams coming back and giving your offense that's been so successful this year. Excellent field position. And whenever you're getting that sky kick, if you can flip your hips and go to the left side of the field, the defense was jumbled up on the left side. Then once he went to the right, no one was over there. That's where the open running lane was, and he had a nice gain.
From the 49, a Northeastern offense that averages over 42 points per game. Opening play from scrimmage. It's kept by Roundtree, the quarterback. He dances down the sideline and picks up a first down deep into opponent territory. We highlighted Roundtree's dual threat ability, Jay. Over 690 rushing yards and 10 scores this season. He's rushed for over 100 yards in 3 contests this year.
Yeah, excellent on the ground. 8.6 yards per carry. So every time he touches the ball, he presents a lot of problems to the defense, whether that's on the ground or with the passing option he has as well. Excellent through the air as well. So he's one of the key players in this game, and really important for him to get off to a good start.
Picks up 23 here, and from inside the 30-yard line, Roundtree will fake it and keep it. Looking for a lane up the middle, and Roundtree will be drugged down inside the 5 and down to the 1. Another huge run for Roundtree, and he sets his team up in the red zone.
Quarterback draw, Chris, and that defensive line paused for a second, and then Roundtree, once he found that lane, just made one cut that broke through, almost able to take it to the end zone. Look at the defensive line. Kind of paused right there. The blocks got set up by the O-line of Northeastern, and then the quarterback did the rest. One cut and almost took it in.
They mark him down at the 2 officially, and they'll go at the full house backfield. Handoff to the last man through, Clarence Jones, dotting the power I and scores. 9th rushing score of the year for Jones, and how about that for an answer from Northeastern?
Well, Jones just staying patient once he got the ball, finding the hole in the offensive line. Golden, Brooks, Lewis Cole, McDaniel, and Riddick just blowing back the defensive line of Pasquotank and creating open lanes for their quarterback and running backs on that drive.
So each team has now had one possession. Both teams have scored, and the extra point by Swain is true. And with 9:32 to play here in the opening stanza, it's Northeastern and Pasquotank even at 7 apiece, partner.
Well, this drive, look at the offensive line clearing out the D-line of Pasquotank. That hole was wide open there, and just an excellent job of them staying in their stance, getting off the ball low, and having great technique with their hands inside to push back the D-line and then the offensive line. If you're a running back running through that hole, I mean, anybody, you can close your eyes and run through there, Chris.
You could have run through it, Jay.
I could have run through there backwards.
Oh, now you're
still made it in.
Now you're just showing off.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, once you get confidence, you can go side to side, backwards. Anyway, as long as you get the ball over the goal line, it's a great job by them getting in the end zone on their first drive.
You could have nay-nayed across the goal line.
Yeah, I could have whipped a nay-nay. I could have done whatever, yeah.
What's the answer here for Pasquotank? Obviously, you have some momentum offensively.
Well, I think here on special teams, you've got to have a response and try to give yourself great field position again, just like that first drive, getting the ball out past the 30-yard line at least. And you've got confidence with your offense as far as Oatman going and also the Cowell brothers that you had on that first drive.
It is one of the Cowell twins and Griffin, the 2 deep men for Pasquotank here, as Sawyer ready to boot it away. 2 very good kickers in this contest. We'll highlight that storyline as we progress on this evening, as Sawyer's kick is a good one. Sending Griffin back inside the 10. It is returnable as he looks for a lane up the hash. Bounces it outside and tiptoes the sideline to the 26-yard line. And that's where the Panthers will start from their own 26, hoping to put together another solid drive.
Well, for their offensive line on this drive, it's really going to be important to hold up and give time to Oatman as he throws the ball, and also just give the running backs a hole to run through. On special teams, Griffin just finding a lane. It was a middle return, but broke it to the outside where he saw an open area to run and got as much as he could up the sideline.
Oatman dominated the opening drive for Pasquotank in that opening drive of the game. We'll see what happens here on their second possession. From the shotgun, pressure coming. Over the middle, too tall for Griffin. Boyd providing the coverage that time for Northeastern, and a nice play defensively.
Yeah, the defense there brought a blitz. The O-line held up, but right in the last second, Oatman got pressure, and if you can throw that on a little bit more accurate in stride, it could have been a big gain.
Second down and 10. Second down to pass. And off the hands of Marcus Cowell, the intended receiver. We'll see a third down and long for this Pasquotank offense. And I think, Jay, for the Panthers, at least one of my keys is not to be in third and long situations.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's the situation that Northeastern wants to be in with their pressure. Right there, you've got to execute on that. You may not pick up a first down, but at least to make it a more manageable situation on third down there. That was an easy screen play there that would have picked up at least 5 yards.
One man at the bottom of your screen, that's Cowell in single coverage. Home run ball down the field, and nobody home there. The closest guy in the neighborhood was Tyshawn Vaughn, and that's 4 consecutive incomplete passes now for Owen after hitting that 29-yarder on the first play from scrimmage.
Well, the defense for Northeastern made some adjustments on that drive. The defense got more pressure from the D-line. Also, their blitzers got to Oatman, but the secondary, that's really where the change was made. They did a much better job of staying in coverage and staying on their man and that man-to-man coverage they like to play.
They'll have to punt it away after going 3 and out. Darius Walton, one of the deep men back for Northeastern, along with Tyshawn Vaughn. We'll see what transpires on this punt by Jared Williams. High snap, pulls it down and no rush, so he has all day to boot it away. And takes a big hop and is down to cross the 40-yard line. So another short field for Northeastern to operate.
Well, Northeastern, that last drive was just too easy for them. If you're Pasquotank, you've got to do something to try to slow down Roundtree. That's really the key, is to slow him down on the ground. And even though he's been successful through the air, try to make them one-dimensional.
But we knew that the bugaboo so far this season for Northeastern is defense, giving up over 37 points per game.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. I mean, you can't win a lot of games. You can't go to the playoffs and be successful down the road once you get to November with your defense giving up that many points, and defense wins championships. So there's still a chance here for them to get better, but the main thing they've got to do is create turnovers, because Northeastern is just way too powerful to let them drive down the field.
Roundtree, quick drop to the outside. It's Overton who makes the catch, spins away from a defender, and has a first down across midfield. Tyleek Overton with his 38th catch of the season, over 500 yards receiving, Jay, and he's got a tall order to live up to last year, where he caught 65 passes.
Yeah, well, sometimes you set your bar so high, it's going to put a lot of pressure on yourself, but that's something, as you progress through high school, you always want to top the previous year, and the improvement is just amazing to watch these guys improve from year to year, but also week to week.
A first down that time for Northeastern across midfield. 65 catches and almost 1,000 yards receiving for Overton a year ago. Home run ball down the sideline for Walton. He's got it. Stiff arms the man, and he'll scamper to the end zone. Darius Walton, the sophomore, with his 4th touchdown catch of the season, and the Eagles soaring high in the first quarter.
Walton and Roundtree connecting, just a fly route down the sideline, one-on-one coverage, and Walton too fast. Roundtree just putting it perfectly into his chest, right in stride. An easy touchdown once again, and Pasquotank's defense is having problems right now.
14th touchdown pass of the season for Roundtree. Have yourself a year, young fella.
Yeah, so far so good in this game. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, and very easy drives too, Chris.
And Swain now 27 of 28 in point afters, came in at 96% on the season. Dots the scoring drive there as the Eagles up by 7.
On the O-line, look at the protection, the time that Roundtree has. A clean pocket, just a straight fly route by Walton. Again, one-on-one coverage, no safety help over top in that cover 2 defense. You've got to find a way to have somebody else protecting your DBs on those long fly routes.
So what is the answer to have someone protect your DBs?
Well, the secondary, the safeties have to do a better job of reading the eyes of Roundtree and going over and help, playing deeper. You can't ever let a man get further than your furthest. So in saying that, you can't let Walton run past your safety, but the safety wasn't even over there protecting. He was still in the middle of the field.
Is that because Pasquotank respects the running ability of Roundtree so much?
Well, that may be part of it, but you've got to play with your eyes. You've got to see what they're doing. Once you read that it's not a run, your safety has to play back, and it's not the safety's job to go fill the box. His job is to stay back and be the last man in defense for the long passing plays. So they've got to do a better job of recognizing their responsibilities and playing to their assignments.
4 combined drives, 3 scores by the 2 teams. We're off to a high-octane start here tonight as Sawyer boots it away. Returnable again, possibly for Griffin, who bobbled it, picks it up, and now looking for some blockers, and Griffin strung out and dropped at the 21-yard line. Another long field for Pasquotank, now trailing by 7 and needing to find a way to get involved and get the wide receivers and the running game also going here, right?
Yeah, the last drive completely opposite from that first drive. Is 3 and out. It really looks sloppy, so they've got to do a better job protecting Oatman. Again, try to get something going on the ground to help him out in the passing game, because he's going to face pressure and those flying bullets all night.
It's been an offense that struggled recently for Pasquotank. They averaged 36 points per game over their first 6 contests, but just 20 combined points in the last 2 weeks. Trying to fare better here tonight. Plenty of time for Oatman. Down the field, got a man, and a lot of pressure and a flag. Looks like they're going to nab Tivis Vaughn, the 6'2 senior, for pass interference as he was guarding Paul Rayner. Check that, Corey Jackson was the intended receiver. And will be a 10-yard penalty, I believe, in high school, and should result in a first down, as Eddie Buffalo, our referee, will give us the indication. And it is pass interference on Northeastern, and that's something both coaches, Jay, talked about, to us about this week, cutting down on the penalties and the mental mistakes.
So it's just playing more discipline, and at this point in the season, you want to have minimal penalties, and on that play was Vaughn going against Jackson. Jackson 6'6", 265, the tight end. Vaughn 6'2 himself, and on that play, you just got to try to turn your head and go for the ball. You can't keep your chest inside of Jackson there and not go for the ball, and that's why the penalty was called. 1st and 10,
bad snap, and Oatman wisely just falls on it. Did not want to compound matters, so one positive play, now a negative play, and you're behind the chains on 2nd down.
Yeah, and that's what we talk about, just playing discipline there. On 1st down, you've got an opportunity after the penalty to get this drive going, and Oatman drops the ball. So on that play, you just got to focus, and good job by him just getting on the ball and living to fight another down.
2nd down and 15. Under 8 to go in the opening stanza. Glad you're with us on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. Oatman on the option keeper. Fights ahead for just a couple of yards. Might have actually lost half a yard. We'll wait and see where they spot the football, Jay. But either way, it'll be 3rd down for the Panthers.
Well, that's the 2nd time they've run that option play. Oatman's kept the ball both times. So his favorite side of the field to run is the right side. Also, too, since being right-handed, they want to roll him out as well. So look for Northeastern to try to shade their coverage over to the right side of the defense.
3rd down and 20. Oatman with the pocket collapsing, throws deep downfield, and it's caught by Cowell. And he's out of bounds, but moved the chains for the Panthers. They said they wanted to make big plays in the passing game, and they've done that so far tonight.
Well, being explosive, that's how you're going to have to beat Northeastern. One-on-one coverage on the outside once again. That was just Michael Cowell wanting the ball more, going up, grabbing it out of the air, and Oatman with the perfect pass. The O-line protecting, and finally pressure coming through. But look at this catch right over the defender, Northeastern. And now Jackson here right down the middle.
Jackson has a lane and has a first down at the 1. All the way down to about the 2-yard. Jackson doesn't get involved a ton, only had 3 catches coming into play today, but Jay, he's been involved a couple of times on this drive for huge plays.
Well, Jackson's going to be a huge part of this game plan with that middle of the field wide open on these blitzing schemes. The tight end is the quarterback's best friend. Those easy passes down the middle. Jackson, excellent job on that route.
41-yard pickup, and now the defense swarms to the football as Travion Freshwater, a 6'1 senior, in to make the stop and brings up 2nd down and goal. Let's look at the long catch by Jackson, a 41-yard pickup, Jay.
Well, it's just a post right down the middle. 6'6", 265. Look at him lumbering down the field. Big kid and excellent in the blocking game as well.
Young Jay Sodhalter. wisely falls on it with the cavalry coming all around him. But now if you're Northeastern, have to feel like you've dodged a bullet here, right, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, on that play, you're down there, and on third down, incompletion, and then there, a wild snap. And if your offense can get a drive going here and try to get some points on the board, it's going to change the complexion of this game, even though it's still early.
Clarence Jones fighting for a few extra yards. Jelani Alcorn, the sophomore, one of the two linebackers in to make the stop that time. Jones has one of the two scores for Northeastern tonight, his rush for over 730 yards this season. It was held to just 72 yards on 14 carries by Edenton a week ago, so you know he's looking to get involved early tonight.
Yeah, and one of the key players for them and trying to get going early and often throughout this ballgame.
Back to pass is Roundtree throwing it downfield. Pass is hauled in, and a nice catch that time by Walton, who has the touchdown grab. Will be close to the marker and move the chains now for the Eagles.
Well, and Walton on that first big completion ran the fly route on the touchdown here, just a crossing route. Roundtree getting out of the pocket, moving with his legs to the right, finding one of his favorite targets for a first down.
1st and 10. 5 minutes to play in a very exciting first quarter. Roundtree with Combs, the running back this time. Looking downfield again, and that one sails into the Pasquotank bench. Trying to hit Tyvis Vaughn, who's getting some interest at both the Division I and Division II level. An all-conference selection a season ago. It's incomplete and brings up second down.
Well, Vaughn playing both ways. A DB wide receiver, an excellent player, an excellent athlete, and still continue to develop and looking to play at the next level. Chris, going to be an excellent player in college.
A block in the back was called against Northeastern, so back the Eagles up 10 yards, and that's the third infraction already against Northeastern tonight.
Well, that's something they're going to have to clean up, and those penalties haven't hurt them thus far, but now in this situation, it's 1st and a mile, so if you're Coach Moore and your staff, you've got to find a way to get your kids to try to clean up those penalties.
Play action. Roundtree shedding his blockers and stiff arms a man out of bounds, and will still be third down and very shy of the first down. This is a Pasquotank defense that a week ago, Jay, got a lot of pressure on the quarterback and had 6 sacks as a defensive unit.
Yeah, and last week some success, and here on this play, doing a pretty good job of holding up Roundtree. Picked up some yardage, but not nearly enough to get close to the first down and forcing him out of bounds.
Pasquotank picked to finish 5th here in the Northeastern Coastal 2A. Northeastern picked to be the cream of the crop again and win their 3rd straight league crown. 3rd down, and check that, 2nd down in a mile as Roundtree keeps it up the sideline and across the 40-yard line. Will still be shy of the marker, but bring up 3rd down and manageable this time.
Yeah, it was 2nd down in a mile. He got 3/4 of that mile on that play. Almost finished it off there. But again, just a quarterback power play. The offensive line pulling, and Roundtree doing the rest, almost getting the first down, but a pivotal 3rd down and short here.
Go back to the air, keep it on the ground, Jay.
I think you can keep it in number 3's hands and let him do his damage on the ground.
Draw, looks for a lane, and a nice play in the open field by Jamon Williams, the 5'11 sophomore. Has made 45 tackles so far this year, 3.5 tackles for loss, and there's another one, a 2-yard loss on the big play by the sophomore.
Well, Williams, 225. Brings the lumber here, not being faked out by Roundtree on that quarterback draw. See him find Roundtree and then just attack through the open lane and close that door. Big play by the defense of Pasquotank on 3rd down.
And it looks like Northeastern, as the defense does make that big play, going to go for it. Great look at Williams, the sophomore, one of the 2 linebackers on this 5-2 formation. Roundtree keeps it up the middle, stumbling to the first down and into Panther territory. Roundtree moves the sticks once again, Jason Halter.
So, Chris, that was the same play as the last play. Just a draw up the middle, but Roundtree looked so determined on that run as he ran through the hole. The offensive line did enough to seal off the defender as an easy first down right towards midfield here.
Roundtree ran for 138 yards on 16 carries a week ago in that come-from-behind victory over Edenton Holmes, a 36-35 win for the Eagles to keep pace at the top of the league standings. Carry goes to Jones this time as he almost was down. Ball is out, and the Panthers recover. Well, turnovers are going to play a huge factor in this contest, as for the 7th time this season, Pasquotank falls on a fumble, and now a chance to get the offense back in gear and still only down by a touchdown.
Yeah, Nikiver Stokely jumping on that ball. That's what we talked about, the turnovers being one of the keys to this game for this defense. And that's what they needed on this drive, as Northeastern was driving. Stripping the ball from Clarence Jones was Lorenzo Morgan, the senior, 6'1", 240, getting his paw in there, knocking it out, and then Stokely being on the spot for the turnover.
Griffin on the end around, and not much doing as the defense was waiting for that play from Pasquotank. Pick your tackler there that time. Tyshawn Vaughn was in on the action, as was a couple other players, Trayvon Freshwater. And you're hearing a lot of these defensive names for both teams, and a lot of young guys playing defense for both these two teams.
Well, that's the promising thing for both programs, is young players that are going to continue to grow through their program, and these players in these communities play together through Pop Warner, through middle school, and now into high school. So these kids really have a lot of camaraderie, and that's why both schools have hoping for a lot of success throughout this year, is the development in the base of their teams.
Oatman completes the pass to Cowell, who was running sideways that time, and boy, a big hit that time in the open field by Malachi Combs, the outside linebacker, had 10 tackles a week ago.
And Cal getting laid the boom on here with Oatman throwing to the side and nowhere to run. And when they get that turnover, they've got to take advantage of these opportunities. They can't just get the ball and punt it. They've got to try to move the ball down the field and get something going, because if you get the turnover, if you can't use it to your advantage, there's really nothing positive that came out of it here other than flipping the field position. So this is a big 3rd down. Even though it's 3rd and long, they've got to try to find a way to pick this up.
Less than 90 seconds to go for the opening quarter. Oatman with the pocket collapsing. Hit as he throws and incomplete. Trying to hit Griffin down the seam, but Oatman took a shot there, Jay.
Well, he didn't have really time to throw it. He just had to get it out of his hands, and Griffin streaking down the middle of the field again. Was open, but the O-line couldn't protect on that passing play.
One more look. And once again, it was Freshwater getting loose and making the pressure on the quarterback as hit Cowell streaking down the sideline. Williams, a preseason All-State selection, back to punt, averaging almost 40 yards per kick here in 2015. High snap. It's been a theme of the night for Pasquotank. And a decent kick here. Will take a fortuitous bounce, roll inside the 10, and then be picked up by Northeastern. And who has the football? Oh, the Eagles come up with it, says the first official, but that was almost disastrous. And what are you doing back there if you're Walton, right?
Well, that's a no-no. Whenever you let the ball bounce, you get away. Walton trying to make something happen, trying to be aggressive, but that's the worst place you can do that, down near your own goal line, and that was almost disastrous for Northeastern.
It's almost a very short field for Pasquotank, and I'm sure Coach Moore will have a chat with him on the sideline.
Well, that punt had an excellent roll, and there they almost got lucky and got that ball, and initially I thought they were going to get it.
But talking about flipping the field position, Northeastern did that on that punt, or beg your pardon, Pasquotank did, and now the Northeastern offense will go back to work. Ball at the 6 officially. Roundtree working from the shotgun, hands it away, and fighting through a few tackles is Walton as he's strung out and gets a nice gain out to the 15-yard line to give him about 8 or 9 yards there, partner.
That's the way you want to start first down, make it a very situation moving into 2nd down and short here, and Roundtree mixing it up with Walton now coming out from his wide receiver position back into the backfield and showing his versatility.
Walton has been ubiquitous here in the last couple of minutes. Final 30 seconds of the quarter. Roundtree will keep it, dance through some tackles, and a first down for Roundtree as he works to the 31-yard line, and that'll move the chains, Jay.
Well, for this offense, just continuing to roll here, and other than that turnover, moving the ball easily down the field, and it's all been the Roundtree show on the ground, where it's been the draw or the quarterback keeper on the power play, the offensive line really controlling the line of scrimmage, and great vision by Roundtree, seeing where the hole is and then attacking it.
Furby there to make the stop on the previous play. Northeastern does not have to run another play in this quarter, but it looks like they're going to try to with 8 seconds left. home run ball down the sideline, and too long for the receiver. Had Walton out there again, but just put too much air underneath that one.
Yeah, it's one you want back. Sometimes you don't want to throw it too far and show off your arm that much. You want to throw a little bit more loft and let your wide receiver run underneath it as he had broken free. That could have been a touchdown.
One more look, Jay.
In time with Williams coming up the middle. Roundtree took a shot, but just a little bit too far. Otherwise, that could have been a long touchdown completion.
Final 3 seconds of the quarter. It's 2nd and 10. Not a bad idea there, taking a shot on first down, right?
Yeah, well, on first down, that's when you want to take the shot. And then now here, the defense is on their heels, and you can mix in some of the running plays you have at your arsenal.
Roundtree keeps it, and why not? Stiff arms the defender. Got a block. Has a first down, and out around midfield and almost to plus territory. It'll be a first down for Northeastern when the second quarter begins. The latest installment of the River City Gridiron Classic has been a good first quarter as the Eagles lead by 7 on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel.
Cinderella found the pet that fits her perfectly. Tiana gave her pet the royal treatment. Belle found beauty when no one else did. And you can too. Share your heart. Share your love. Bring home your forever friend. Make a shelter pet part of your world. Happily Ever After begins at theshelterpetproject.org.
Nice autumn evening here in the northeastern part of North Carolina, nestled between the Atlantic Ocean and the Chowan River. Chris Edwards, Jay Sonhalter, Aaron Summers, and the rest of our crew in a 7-point lead for Northeastern, partner. They've got the football and have it right around midfield.
Yeah, this is kind of how we expected to unfold. A lot of offense in this game. The defense is trying to find their ways, and so far the offense is dominated, and the defenses are going to have to find a way to keep up and make adjustments.
From the 46 officially, and boy, Roundtree has been very impressive tonight.
Yeah, well, on the ground, he's so fast but also elusive, and when he makes his cuts, he's so hard to bring down.
Walton on the end around, darts through tackles and darts to the outside. Walton spinning in and inside the 25-yard line. Another huge run for Walton. Was not known as a runner, but getting involved in the offense in a variety of ways.
Yeah, well, it's pretty scary when you're not known as a runner and you're tearing it up on the ground. And look at Walton coming on the end around, the jet sweep, using his speed and that move. Boy, that could have faked out anybody there with that little stutter and then getting to the outside.
But it's going to the run's going to be negated on a penalty against Northeastern. So that'll be the 4th infraction tonight on the Eagles. And talking about being disciplined, I'm sure Coach Moore not pleased with the 4 penalties already in the first quarter and 10 seconds.
So that's the one area of concern. Other than that first drive, you played a great ball game, but these penalties starting to creep up in numbers and starting to hurt your offense especially.
Coach Moore with the headset on, checking that wristband. In his 11th season as the head coach at Northeastern, 110 wins and just 34 losses. Has never lost a River City Gridiron Classic contest to Northeastern, hoping that trend does not be bucked tonight. On first down and 15, Roundtree sails that one out of bounds. Looking for Vaughn near the sideline, the all-conference selection from a season ago, but it's 2nd and 15 now.
For this Northeastern offense, so many weapons, a strong offensive line, a quarterback that can run and throw. Walton out of the backfield and out of the wide receiver, Vaughn. So a lot of guys you're going to have to defend if you're Pasquotank, and a defense that's struggling has to do a better job of staying on them. And so far in this drive, that penalty really hurt Northeastern. Pasquotank in a good position on 2nd and long.
A Northeastern offense that's used to putting up points in bunches. They've scored at least 35 points in all but 2 games this season. On 2nd and 15, the carry goes to Combs and darts outside, has the first down and more. Combs down the sideline and tripped up around the 20-yard line. No flags and a huge run for the 5'10 sophomore.
You know, we talk about young players developing. Combs, again, like you said, Chris, only a sophomore. All these young guys stepping up and cleared off the right side of that offensive line, cleared the way, and Combs on the counter play coming across, and there was nobody to have containment right there. Once he broke to the outside, used his speed, and luckily for Pasquotank, the sideline was their friend there and forced him out of bounds.
Pasquotank wants to talk about it as the Panthers call a timeout. Aaron Summers on the sideline has more on this Northeastern offense.
The Northeastern squad has had to change the entire way that they send plays in. Instead of motioning with their hands, they're using wristbands, and that's because a coach on the other sideline is one of Coach Moore's former assistants. Yet the offensive coordinator at Pasquotank, Jesse Casino, used to work underneath Coach Moore at Northeastern, and they developed the entire Eagles offense together. So instead of changing the offense because Coach Moore said, hey, if it's not broken, we're not going to fix it, they decided to go to wristbands, so the opposing coach couldn't tell what plays they were running.
Aaron, thanks a lot, and told us that he's been working on the wristband system really all season long in preparation for this game. How tough is that, though, to change the whole way that you send in plays as an offense?
Well, it's just annoying that you have to do it because you don't want the opposing team to steal your signals, but it's something that, you're right, Coach Moore has to practice throughout the year and prepare your team for this to make it second nature, and that's why you practice that, to get all your signals down and all your verbiage on your play column so the opposing team doesn't have that knowledge.
A good look at the wristband that time as the handoff goes straight ahead to Jones, and he's upended around the 15-yard line. Clarence Jones is probably feeling like the man left out tonight. A guy who came in with over 700 yards rushing has not had to be utilized very much so far this evening.
You know, and Jones, 8.6 yards on the ground for him as well, so excellent player. We haven't called his name because he hasn't had the opportunity, so he's looking to get the most out of his chances, and I'm expecting to hear his name more throughout this ballgame.
Still a lot of football left to be played. A minute plus gone by in our second quarter. Slant to the outside is caught and stumbling into the end zone for another score for Northeastern goes number 6, Vaughn. Tyvis Vaughn gets his 4th touchdown catch of the season, and just like that, it's a 2-score lead for the Eagles.
So yeah, that was a slant route, and Vaughn using his 6'2 frame to box out the defender for Pasquotank, and once he boxed him out, he fell down, and Vaughn just easy touchdown getting into the end zone on that slant route. So important to get inside the defender and give your quarterback a target to throw the ball to him. Roundtree hit him in stride.
Extra point is no good from Swain. We'll see if that comes back to hurt Northeastern a little bit later. We talked about the 65 catches for Overton last year, Jay. How about this Vaughn? 78 catches for almost 1,100 yards a season ago, has 33 catches this year.
Well, DBs didn't have much success against that tandem last year.
No doubt.
How about that competition, those two wide receivers, that many catches, it's tough to stop those guys.
Talk about DBs not having success. It's been the story for Pasquotank at times tonight, especially on this touchdown throw.
Yeah, plenty of time for Roundtree to throw. Nobody even getting close to him, and Vaughn getting inside of that DB and then doing the rest diving in the end zone.
Two very interesting styles defensively that we'll delve into once we see the touchdown catch again.
Yeah, just accurate throw again, right in stride, and excellent hand-eye coordination bringing that in.
Pasquotank running that 5-2 defensive look. What kind of challenges does that present to an offense as a whole?
Well, when you run a 5-2, you're getting more guys on the defensive line. So if you can break through that first line of defense, there's less guys, because normally it's going to be 7 in the box, but it's going to be 3 linebackers, so there's more speed. So it's a little bit different, and it creates different matchups in the blocking schemes. But if you can get back past that first line of defense, it makes it a little bit easier, and that's where the advantage is in the secondary for the opposing offense.
Pasquotank needs to get something going offensively, down by a couple of scores, and Swain puts it in play again. Pooch kick this time, and running up to field it, one of the up men for Pasquotank, and he'll slide across the 40-yard line like it was big number 88, Corey Jackson, who's been involved in the offense a couple times tonight, making the catch.
Well, if I saw big Corey running at me, I'm 6'4", but I wouldn't want to tackle him. Being 265, look at him with great hands, running straight at Walton. Oh, and hey, I feel bad for him. I don't blame him on that, because the same thing would have happened to me.
And Jackson's only a junior.
Yeah, well, he's going to be about 6'8", 6'8", 290 by the time he's a senior. I mean, an impressive athlete. Look at him playing both ways with that size and those hands and running around the field. Excellent game so far for him.
Pressure that time in the backfield and nothing doing, as it was Griffin who got the carry, and Griffin couldn't do anything as he was swarmed under in the backfield. A loss of 4 that time.
Nowhere to go, that Northeastern defense swarming to the ball, and 3 or 4 guys running, and that's what you want for your defense. Multiple guys getting to the ball carrier.
Talk about defense for Northeastern. They're running a man, no one over top, no safeties to help, right? It's a high risk, high reward for the Northeastern defense.
When we talked to the coaches before the game, they said, hey, you're not going to see anything like what we run. And I was like, what do you run? And they're like, hey, we bring everybody. Everybody's in the box. Everybody's going one-on-one coverage, high risk, high reward, and that's the way they want to play, is aggressive.
Flag on Pasquotank. Some motion up front makes it 2nd and 19. Coach Moore told us that he's a big Mike Tyson fan, so that's why he likes to run this defense. I'd rather be knocked out than be punched all over and have someone beat on me all night.
Oh, yeah, I love hearing these coaches' strategy and who they kind of bring into their team to talk about strategy. And Mike Tyson, anybody that knows boxing knows that he's somebody that wants to come out and throw left hooks and right hooks and uppercuts, and that's how he wants his defense to play, is aggressive, just like a boxer.
Pump fake, pass complete. Griffin has some running room, gets the penalty yards and the sack yards back out to the 46. Will bring up 3rd down and 7.
Oh, good job of execution, getting it back here, and now you've got a better situation on 3rd down, and Griffin is a crossing route across the middle of the field.
Should at least be able to flip the field position here, and whether you pick up the 1st down or not, correct?
Yeah, I mean, here it's all about moving the ball down the field. You want to score, but also just even a play like this, getting 10 yards is huge to the momentum of your offense.
And pressure and some contact on the defensive line. And we'll see who is the culpable party here. And it's encroachment on Northeastern. Some motion there up front, creating some contact in the neutral zone. Looks like Antonio Winslow, the culpable party there, as he jogs off to the sideline.
Yeah, whenever you see the yellow flag come out, they usually take out the guy who's committed that penalty, and that's the way you try to clean up those mistakes.
Pressure, man wide open. It's Cow down the sideline. A lot of running room. Cow makes the move. See you later. Touchdown, Panthers.
What a job by Cal, breaking free, wide open. Oatman hitting his wide open wide receiver, and Cal, like a video game, went to the right, hit that left button, went to the other side of the field, faked out the defense, and what a job by him getting his team back in the game for that huge touchdown.
First touchdown catch of the season for Cowell. That's the 12th touchdown toss on the season for Oatman. Extra point by Post is good, and it's a 6-point game all of a sudden with 3 minutes gone by here in the quarter.
Well, Chris, this is a rivalry game, and both teams talented, and for Northeastern, 6-2 coming into this game, 4-4 for Pasquotank, but you have to throw out the records in this type of game. You know that's going to be close, and these teams are going to fight, and right here, Pasquotank coming back with an explosive play. And look at this move right here by Cal. Fake to the outside, boom, brought it to the other side, and that's going to look good on film for Cal watching that and showing off his moves right there. It's something you can brag about to all the other teams. See my moves right there? Taking it to the right, boom, to the left.
Highlight reel play for sure. That might be the nominee for Pasquotank for their play of the week.
Could be the play of the week opportunity.
Check tomorrow on TWCSportsChannel.com to see which play is selected. And
He's in contention.
He is.
He's in the top 3 right now. Do we get a vote, Chris?
I don't think so. I think Matt and Jason handle that.
We'll try to influence
absolutely.
with our pick throughout this game.
Make sure you go watch the plays, vote, and your school could have a chance to win $1,000 at the end of the season.
Nothing wrong with 1K.
That's right. A lot of momentum, though, on the Pasquotank sideline right now.
Yeah, well, what a response right there. You know, start off the game hot with the first drive of the game, then not a lot going your way, 20 unanswered points, then boom, with a huge play by your offense getting back in there, and now momentum on your side.
Short kick, fielded by Overton. And, somebody mollywopped on the big block there. It's a short field to work with for Northeastern, and not sure if I like that strategy there, Jay, of the pooch kick.
Yeah, well, Isaiah McKenna's going to love watching that on film. Just completely obliterated the blocker right there. And on that short kick, you're giving the opposing offense, Northeastern, great field position. If they can just catch and fall down, they're going to get great field position, but then on the return, picking up extra yards here. And this offense is much too talented to start off with this type of position on the field.
Already leading 20-14. Very entertaining, high-octane first half thus far. We expected a lot of points. I don't think we expected this many points this early.
Well, it's gotten us out of our seats.
Absolutely. Lots to be fans about tonight. Roundtree will keep it and tries the outside, and nothing there. Another nice play defensively. Lorenzo Morgan, the 6'1 senior, in there to make the stop.
Well, Morgan impressive down on that D-line, using his hands, getting off the block and getting pressure. And once your offense goes out on the field and puts up some points, it helps that defense get pressure and get more motivation and get excited on that side of the ball, and that D-line swarming around making the play on Roundtree.
Najee Bell also in there, combining on the stop. No gain. Second down and 10. Roundtree a bootleg and a flick to Walton, who makes the catch, has the first down. He avoids a defender, and he's got a big play down the sideline, dragging a man with him inside the 30. It's first down for Northeastern after a huge catch by Walton.
Well, that looked like Deion Sanders high step down the sideline with Walton having the stutter move, and on the rollout pass, Roundtree finding a wide open receiver. Pasquotank not even covering it right there with the little stutter, getting there, then the high step right here, trying to fake out the defender and almost breaking free, but another explosive play for the Northeastern offense.
41-yard pickup there by Walton. He's had 2 catches of 40 yards or more in this contest tonight. Roundtree keeps it, spinning off a couple of defenders and works his way down inside the 10. Will be first and goal for the Eagles as they're looking to provide an answer to the touchdown Pasquotank just scored.
Well, Northeastern really mixing up their offense at the run and the pass, and their play calling excellent so far with the diversity of their offense and putting a lot of pressure on Pasquotank to defend the whole field, but also they're on their heels because they don't know what's coming with this unpredictable play calling with the run pass option and the excellent play calling so far.
First and goal, nearly halfway through this second quarter. And a whistle and a timeout called by Pasquotank as Northeastern ready to line up under center. Maybe Pasquotank not ready to see Roundtree under center. They want to talk about it on the sideline.
Yeah, well, that's a good time to call a timeout to try to get your defense established and make sure everyone's on the same page.
Two teams that right now, Jay, in different directions, but Pasquotank with a win tonight could certainly help their playoff chances. Northeastern, by some of the polls and some of the projections for the playoffs, could be a #1 overall seed in 2A when the brackets come out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, and most importantly, just a rivalry game, bragging rights, but for Northeastern, the playoff seeding is so important. They want to be at the home field and play at home throughout the playoffs and not have to leave them for Pasquotank. If you can win this game, pull off this upset, you're going to put yourself in a great position going out throughout the rest of this season, trying to get into the playoffs. And a swing game for them. If you lose this, it's going to be tough at 4 and 5. You're going to have to really win out. But if you win this, you're getting on the right side of the momentum.
Well, last year for Pasquotank, a playoff appearance, their first playoff appearance since 2010. And boy, it would certainly go a long way to help this program going to the playoffs in back-to-back seasons after having a 4-year drought, not tasting the postseason.
So it's just all about confidence in your program and instilling discipline in your philosophy, and that's showing out on the field, moving to the playoffs, because that's really a testament to the team if you can make it to the playoffs and cause damage.
Off the 9-yard line, straight ahead, it's Combs plowing toward the goal line. No signal yet. Give him 6. Touchdown for the Eagles. Second rushing score of the year for Combs. 4 touchdowns tonight for Northeastern, 2 through the air, 2 on the ground, showcasing that balanced attack.
Well, again, just the offensive line dominating, clearing the way for Combs to grind it through there, getting into the end zone. And excellent response from Northeastern, coming off of that field position created by their special teams, moving the ball down the field with a couple big plays by Roundtree and Walton, and then Combs finishing off in the end zone.
Swain missed his last extra point try, but has no issues here driving this one through the uprights. And with 7:16 to go here in the second quarter, 27-14 the lead for Northeastern.
On this run, look at the offensive line firing off the ball, creating that room for Combs, and the defense trying to drag him down, but Combs, only a sophomore, much too strong, and stay low to the ground as he continued to drive through there into the end zone.
Northeastern looking to occupy the top spot in the conference for a third straight season as Coach Parker looking on, trying to get his defense going tonight as we head down to the field and rejoin Aaron Summers.
Kendrick Parker is pretty happy to be on the sideline at all tonight. It's his first home game back coaching from the sideline after he ruptured his Achilles at a scrimmage before the season even started. He missed 3 entire games on medical leave, but he was able to come out and be at some of those first games this season. But here tonight, he's back with his team, and he said it's a mutual thing. He's been with these guys since they were 10 or 11 because he was a middle school coach before this. So he said everyone's happy that he's back on the field with them.
Aaron, thanks a lot. And almost like that college basketball coach from last season that tore his Achilles celebrating and then got knocked off a scooter in the NCAA tournament. It's at Georgia State, I think, when his son hit the big shot. But good to see Coach Parker back on the sideline, and I know his players are happy to have him back as well. Short kick. It's Jackson again on the return for Pasquotank. And gets out across the 40-yard line. Good field position for the Panthers trying to get back into this contest.
Well, they keep kicking it to Jackson because he's the biggest guy out on the field, but Lord have mercy, I feel bad for Northeastern's guys trying to tackle him because, yeah, he may not be able to run away free, but he's going to knock over a couple of those guys as he continues to run the ball.
That's like kicking it to Jay.
Yeah.
Jay's going to run over some people.
Everybody should be scared of me and scared of Jackson. We're both the same size and the same build.
And not very fleet of foot, right?
No. I've got quick feet.
Okay.
If it wasn't for my plantar fasciitis that's going on in my left foot, I just got diagnosed when I got my physical from Dr. Crinton 2 weeks ago. I would be 100%.
Too much information.
I'll be good by the playoffs.
Okay. Cal gets the carry and gets about 4. I don't know how to respond to that.
Well,
I'm sorry. I hope you feel better.
Continuing to ice it. It's all about the playoffs. I'll be 100%. That's what really matters. Regular season's important, but the playoffs, that's when the trophy's on the line. You and I will race. We'll do a 40-yard dash.
You would win, too. Second down and 5. They give him 5 yards official. From the shotgun. Oatman with pressure from behind him flips one downfield and throws it at the feet of his intended receiver as Oatman was pressured all kinds of ways that time.
Yeah, well, Oatman's done a really nice job, though, eluding the pressure, getting outside the pocket. And here is a designed rollout. The pressure still getting to him and unable to complete that pass, but sometimes it's better just to have a complete pass and try to force something down the field, Chris.
Third down and medium. What's the play call here?
Well, again, I think you've got to get Oatman out of the pocket because if he's sitting in the pocket, that's going to help that pressure to get to him. So you've got to move him out there and then try to have a run-pass option for him where if you can't find anybody open, then try to run for the first down.
Half-acre, Delvin Half-acre in single coverage at the bottom of your screen. Of course, everybody's in single coverage. Griffin, little flip back, and Cowell trying to make something happen, and gets maybe no gain. Interesting play call there on third down, Jay.
Yeah, well, that play's tough against this defense for Northeastern because they're trying to trick them, but the defense is so fast. Once they get a beat on where the ball's going, it took too long on those pitch plays, and they're just too fast getting over the ball and didn't fake them out.
Let's look at it one more time. There's the flip back to Cowell, and was that a run-pass option there for him?
No, I think that was the design, just lateral, and it just didn't work out. And they caught the tendencies there, and it's too easy.
Fourth down. Going to go for it from near midfield. Risky scenario here. Pressure. Oatman flips it downfield. Cal Skine getting stay in bounds. Yeah, what a catch. Wow, what a play by Pasquotank to convert a fourth down on a spectacular catch by Cowell.
We heard about the Cowell brothers coming into this game and how they're excellent all over the field, but so far really impressed by their ability to make big plays on fourth down, such an important play, and coming inbounds, focusing on the ball with the defender, Jones, in your face. This offense is really, really led by those two guys in Oatman and coming up with, again, big plays so far.
2 feet in, now looking for the deep ball. Cowell wide open, makes the catch behind the defense, and will sail inside the 5. It's first and goal for the Panthers.
The Cowell show, Chris. I mean, that's what's going on. Back-to-back plays. Excellent job, and the brothers really stepping up, almost converting for a touchdown.
Anything you can do, I can do better, as the brothers trying to one-up the other.
So it's like when they call the plays, you throw to one of the Cows and you know it's going to be successful. If one's covered, go to the other one because somehow they both find a way to get open.
One more look partner.
Well, look at that protection. Excellent pocket by Oatman, finding his wide receiver in that one-on-one coverage. There's plays to be had out there, and the Cow brothers much too fast, finding open seams and almost getting in, but great job getting close to the end zone execution.
Down at the 1, back to the full house backfield. Oatman under center. Turns, hands it away, fighting for the end zone. Touchdown for the Panthers. It went straight up the gut, and Pasquotank answers with a big touchdown score. It was Cowell who got the toss, and it counts to the second score of the night, now 1 on the ground after 1 through the air.
Well, what a response by Pasquotank coming back. They scored that touchdown, and then Northeastern came back, got ahead by 13 points, and now the response by Cal, Oatman, and the rest of this offense facing adversity and driving down the field against this excellent defense of Northeastern.
Extra point by Post is no good. So each side has missed a point after and keeps it at a 7-point game with under 6 minutes to go in the first half.
Here on the replay, look at the offensive line staying low, driving off their blocks. Full house backfield with 2 fullbacks leading the way. Look at the legs grinding, staying low, and just pushing back the defensive line of Northeastern.
Cal got the touchdown run, offensive line doing a great job, but here was the play that set it up, Jay. The big pass from Oatman to Michael Cowell.
Well, on target, Oatman connecting with Michael Cowell down the sideline. Look at these moves and how shifty and fast they are, and these huge plays are there for this offense, and they're taking advantage of it with the accurate passing of Oatman.
Huge plays are there for both offenses tonight.
Yeah, the defenses are going to have to find some type of solution. Maybe that's changing coverage. Too many big plays that are changing field position and changing the course of this game with so many responses from both sides.
If you like exciting offensive football, this has been your night. If you like a 10-7 game, probably not been the night for you.
Yeah, the defensive coaches aren't too happy. You know, the defensive coaches out there watching this, this isn't that type of the game. They want a slugfest. They don't like the fireworks.
But a chance for Pasquotank's defense now to respond and give their offense a chance to fight back down the field. Northeastern already over their average of giving up only 16 points per game. Squib kick fielded by one of the up men, and he sheds a couple of tackles and is spun down at the 43-yard line. That was Quentin Brooks on the return that time for Northeastern, the 5'8 senior. He's an offensive lineman. Doesn't get a chance to touch the football often, but did right there on that return.
Yeah, and really on these returns, whenever you do these types of kicks, you're trying to get the ball in the hands of somebody that doesn't normally carry it. But excellent job of protecting it, and that's the main thing when you're on special teams is you want to have big explosive plays, but number one is protect the football because there's many guys out there that usually never touch it.
Roundtree calling his own number and gets upended after no gain. Second down and 10. 5:37 and counting for the second quarter.
These last 5 minutes and so are really critical going into halftime. A very close ball game, but these teams playing so hard right here, and just a couple things on either side they need to clean up, but excellent first half so far.
But a Pasquotank defense has played much better this week than last week after giving up almost 550 yards of total offense in their loss a week ago. They've got some things corrected here tonight. Second and 10, bootleg for Roundtree. Going to keep it and look for a lane. And boy, he is mollywop between 2 defenders right at midfield.
2 guys hitting Roundtree, not letting him get past them, and the offense line again on that play, sealing off the left side of the line of scrimmage and creating a lane for the quarterback to run.
One more look, Jay.
And it's so dangerous for the defense because you've got to play contain out there, but also hold up on the pass because he kept his eyes looking down the field, so you've got to stay on the wide receivers, and then once he passes the line of scrimmage, those DBs are going to have to come up and try to knock him down and get him out of bounds.
I think Roundtree keeps it here on third down and short.
Yeah, I think you're going to give it to him. If they don't pick it up here, the next 2 plays are going to keep it into his hands.
Well, does keep it, and he's thrown down. Nice play by Anton Felton, the 5'9 senior, all-conference player a season ago, and that's his 10th tackle for loss this season.
What a play by Felton in the open field. That's so hard to bring down anybody in a one-on-one tackling situation, but look at him bringing down the talented Roundtree. And a huge loss right there for Northeastern. An excellent play by Felton, staying low and bringing him down.
Well, decision time for Coach Moore. He's going to leave his offense on the field on 4th down and 5. Interesting play call here from right around midfield. Coach Moore, an aggressive-minded guy, says, hey, try and stop us. Roundtree keeps it, same play, different result, has the first down and more as he goes through defenders, shedding tackles, and a huge gain on 4th and 5.
Well, Chris, that's the second time where Northeastern's ran the draw on 3rd down, didn't pick it up. They went back to the same play, let Roundtree run the draw again on 4th, and he's picked it up. And Coach Moore just has confidence that you're not going to be able to stop Roundtree 2 plays in a row. And look at that offensive line covering up the D line, and Roundtree just following his blockers, picking up a critical first down here as we inch closer towards halftime.
Needed 5, got 28 on that 4th down run. Now, quick pass to Walton, looking for a block, refuses the block, and down to the 15-yard line. It seems like every time Pasquotank scores, Northeastern has an answer, and that's been the case on this drive thus far.
It was just back and forth, and Northeastern getting motivated on this drive as Pasquotank has come back and they've seen the opposing sideline and fan base get excited. They're clicking on all cylinders on that last play, that side screen. So tough to handle these shifty wide receivers and running backs, Walden Jones, in the open field, and excellent job by Pasquotank trying to bring him down.
It's Combs with a touchdown score already tonight, bouncing it to the outside, and he's fighting for extra yards, clawing toward the goal line. He'll be short, but we'll set up a first down and goal for the Eagles. You love the fight and the effort there by Combs, just doing everything he can to get the ball across the plane.
Well, he's a tough runner, and they're a guy they go to on those inside running plays between the tackles. Look at him with his vision. Upright runner, and then gets low as the ball gets closer to the end zone and tacklers come near him. He continues to drive his feet, and such a tough runner. That's what you love to see from a running back, is somebody that doesn't give up.
They really got a 2-headed monster in the backfield with both Combs and Jones.
Yeah, and the Roundtree too.
Yeah, well, yeah.
They've got so many different guys back there, so many different weapons on this offense.
It's like the law firm of Roundtree, Jones, and Combs.
Yeah.
Play action. And Roundtree trying to make something happen. Maybe tried to do too much that time as he was gobbled up for a loss. 2nd down and goal with 100 seconds to go in the half.
So this drive is really bleeding the clock right now, and for Northeastern, you want to score here, but you want to also take up as much time as possible so Pasquotank doesn't have an opportunity to get a final drive. It's a naked bootleg right there, but for Roundtree, sometimes when you're running louder and you see defenders are coming your way, sometimes you just got to get down and live to fight another down.
Northeastern calls their first time out here with 1:17 remaining, and yeah, I think Roundtree deserves to take a knee and get a sip of Gatorade on the sideline.
Yeah, well, sometimes you call a timeout just to get a rest, and sometimes
No
there's
doubt.
strategy involved, but you recognize that your team has been playing very hard, and sometimes you just need to regroup, get them a rest, and focus here for the final 1:32 left on the clock.
Talked about the playoffs a few minutes ago and how Pasquotank trying to build on a playoff appearance from a season ago. Playoffs are nothing new at Northeastern. They've made playoffs every season since 1998, and they went 6-5 that year, right on the doorstep of the playoffs in '98.
Oh, what an excellent program. So successful in that mission. Even though guys graduate, they always find a way to get their next class and that next group of team to get going back in the playoffs, and so much success. And Coach Moore, a huge part of that reason why they've been so successful.
Talk It Out NC is a resource for facts about underage drinking and recommendations on starting an ongoing series of timely conversations. TalkItOutNC.org. Happy to have TalkItOutNC.org as the title sponsor of the Time Warner Cable News Friday Night Fun. Check it out tomorrow night at 11 o'clock right here on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel, Channel 323 or Channel 77. And then stick around for the Wingate University Game of the Week at 11:30. A lot of high school football over the next 2 days to get your football weekend started. 2nd down and goal for Northeastern, ball in the 7. Roundtree flushed, heaves one to the end zone, and it's... Is it caught? It is. Touchdown. Tevis Vaughn makes his second touchdown catch of the night. Some confusion there, but Vaughn makes the catch and give Roundtree 3 passing scores on the evening.
Well, Vaughn just staying alive after his initial route was covered as Roundtree started to scramble out of the pocket, broke back towards the middle of the field, and Roundtree connected with him and catch.
A botch snap on the extra point. It's loose, scooped up by Pasquotank. You cannot return it in high school. It's just a dead play, so the 2-point try is no good. Fans up in arms here below us thinking that was going to be a 2-point play. Not the rule here in high school football.
Well, and of course, who picked that up? Another Cal brother making the play.
Shocker, right? Talk about being ubiquitous. They have been tonight.
They're everywhere down there, making plays on offense, defense, and special teams.
But now down by a couple of scores if you're Pasquotank. 84 seconds to play here in the half. 1 timeout. Still time to get a score on the board. And keep in mind, Northeastern gets the ball to start in the second half, too.
Yeah, not very much time, but 1 timeout. And also, they've had big play opportunities presented to themselves with that one-on-one coverage. And they've taken advantage of that. So you've got to have confidence that you can have a couple big plays and try to get the ball moved down the field and the 124 left. And here it was Vaughn making the catch, low to the ground. Roundtree putting it only where he could catch the ball.
Yeah, good catch by Vaughn. Picking it off the top of the turf. Look at the Pasquotank sideline. Trying to rally the troops with the team trailing by 13 points. Entertaining first half, though, from both sides. High-octane offenses, teams that scoring points in droves. What do you do here on this? Does it depend on field position for Pasquotank off this kickoff, what you do?
I think you're going to have to score points in this ballgame if you want to win. I think you need to be aggressive no matter what time is on the clock, and still plenty of time to get a drive going here. So I think for them, no matter where you get the ball, you've got to try to score a touchdown here.
Another short kick, fielded by Jackson. And Jackson, not much running room, but lowers his head, lowers the boom, and gets out to the 40-yard line.
You'll see Jackson there. Nobody brought him down, but there are 3 guys there trying to force him and push him out of bounds. But on those kicks, it's so hard because it's a sky kick, and you know that everybody's running at you. So he's really doing a good job of focusing on the ball, catching it, and then making the most he can after he catches it.
Jackson, opportunity to make a couple of big plays tonight. 1 catch tonight for 41 yards, setting his team up in the red zone. And a couple missed opportunities for Pasquotank inside the 5-yard line. They've left some points on the board. 81 seconds for the half. Pressure. Oatman loads the gun and fires too long for Cal, trying to make another explosive play through the air. Breaks a string of 2 consecutive completed passes by Oatman, who has done much better finding receivers in the second quarter.
It was just a little bit too long. Had to throw off of his back foot, but safety help over the top, but not getting there in time. A little bit too long, but that could have been a touchdown if that would have been on target with Cal out there breaking free.
Do you go back to the air here, Jay?
Yeah, I think you go to one of the Cal brothers and try to give them an opportunity with this coverage because we've seen how much success they've had thus far.
Oatman to pass, has a man in the flats. It's Cal who makes the catch, has the first down, and wisely gets out of bounds across midfield, preserving the timeout and preserving some time for Pasquotank.
You know, a little bit different coverage on this play. The DB playing off of Cal, giving him room, and that was Roundtree playing DB from his quarterback position. So wide open was Cal, plenty of room, and on that strategy, you just don't want him to have a big play down the field pass. You give him room in front of you to keep everything in front.
Oatman to pass again, flips one for Jackson. The tight end makes the catch and then fumbles the football, but he was already down. Action Jackson getting involved in the offense.
Bulldozing his way through right down the middle of the field, really making a difference in this ball game. Excellent throw by Oatman. Look at his line, holding up, staying strong as pressure's coming. Look at the focus. Right down the middle of the field, guys all over him, and still having the ability to come down with it and knock him over.
And Oatman going down for the sack after a gain of 22 on the previous play. And now Pasquotank will have to burn their final timeout of this half. No timeouts left for P-Tank. 44 seconds left. What's the play call and what's the conversation in the huddle for Coach Parker?
Well, I think the main thing is offensive line. Let's protect. Let's give Oatman time to throw the ball and play call. It's really one or two options. Throw the ball down the middle of Jackson or throw it on the outside to Cal. I mean, that's where you've had success. As long as you throw an accurate ball, give him time to throw it, being the offensive line. Your wide receivers and Jackson are making plays all over the field.
We saw in that first, before the game, Post hitting from about 25, 30 yards in warm-ups. Are they close to field goal range, or do you think they still need a few more yards? Right now they're on the 27.
Yeah, I would try to get closer to be more comfortable, but again, I think they need to go for the end zone first and try to get 7 on the board, and last case scenario, go for the field goal, but I think still they could pick up at least another first down. You'd be in a more comfortable position for a field goal.
Take me inside the defensive strategy here for Northeastern.
Well, I think Northeastern's got to hold up on the blitz and not blitz. They need to put more coverage in the secondary and help out those DBs because they've been placed on an island, and that's putting a lot of pressure on them.
2nd and 17, 44 seconds to play in the half. Oatman getting the play call from his offensive coordinator. Has time, looking for Cowell, and a sliding catch made. They've got to hurry. Clock's still moving. He did not get out of bounds.
Yeah, well, that defensive scheme, only 4 guys coming. The linebackers didn't blitz on that play.
And the umpire down behind the play, Melvin Walston, the umpire, got knocked over by somebody after the play was over. And he's being attended to by his officiating friends, and the trainer was also in there from Pasquotank. And interesting, we've seen the umpire, Melvin Walston, like in the NFL, behind the play, Jay. He's not in the regular umpire spot.
Yeah, and each line judge and umpire has different fields that they look at, and there's somebody behind the line of scrimmage looking at everything, and hopefully he's okay and can come back into this ballgame.
Well, he's off right now, so they're going to run with just a 4-man crew, so the back judge is also the umpire. 3rd down, 10 to go. Over the middle, and intercepted. It's picked off by Northeastern. Up the sideline, ball fumbled out of bounds as it was Walton who intercepted the pass. And a huge interception for Walton. There is a flag down behind the play, so let's hold the phone and check and see what the foul might be. There are actually 2 flags. So you know it must be pretty obvious if multiple officials saw it. Actually, when I was a look at the field, there are 3 flags, so it had to be very egregious, whatever it was. And it's a block in the back caught against Northeastern, most likely on the return. So the interception will stand. And for Oatman, that's his 6th interception of the season. A guy who came into play, partner, completing 53% of his passes.
Well, Walton on the spot, reading the eyes of Oatman. A little bit too high, wide open down the field was Cal, but throw inaccurate, and the Walton all over the field on offense. Now defense stepping up with a huge critical turnover as halftime is approaching.
5th interception for this Northeastern defense so far in 2015. And now with Pasquotank out of timeouts, if you're Northeastern, you just go knee down here with 21 seconds left in the half?
Well, I wouldn't be opposed to giving the ball to Roundtree and seeing if he can pick up a big play, but if you do take the knee and regroup going into half, you've got to be happy with how your defense stood up there and responded on this drive.
A lot of guys involved both ways tonight for both of these teams. 2A football at its finest. Empty backfield for Roundtree with 5 wide receivers. It's quarterback run. Roundtree shedding tackles and trying to make something happen. Has a first down, and Northeastern wants to call a timeout. So they're not content just going to the locker room up by 13. They want to try and add on a little bit.
Yeah, well, normally in this situation, you wouldn't go for it. You play conservative, take the knee, but I think Coach Moore knows how explosive his offense is and seen the success they've had thus far in this first half. He wants to give them an opportunities to see if they can create a big play and try to get some more points here, even though there's only 16 seconds left.
Well, a team that scored already, coming into play tonight, not counting the 33 points they've scored, 338 points scored already this year for Northeastern. That's impressive, yes, but a season ago, they scored 653 points, Jay, and that wasn't even the most in school history. That was the 2nd most. The most came in 2012 when they hung up 665. So this is an offense that year after after year, lights up the scoreboard.
Well, I would say they know how to coach offensive football down there at Northeastern, and boy, just lighting it up again here tonight, and excellent tradition on that side of the ball.
One could say it's a tradition unlike any other here in the northeastern part of the state.
Well, they like to throw it around out here, and boy, they've got some great athletes on offense, defense, and many of those guys are playing both ways.
Yeah, a lot of the guys also starting on special teams too, so a guy like Walton, who's been almost everywhere, it seems.
Well, an excellent conditioned athletes, and Aaron was out of practice this week and talked to us about just their conditioning and how they ran after practice, and very fast and athletic and a well-coached team.
13 seconds remaining in the half from the 24. Roundtree is sacked. Another sack, the 10th of the season for this Pasquotank defense, as it was Anton Felton getting his 4th sack of the season, and that'll take us to the end of the first half. A 13-point lead for Northeastern here at the break. Jay, your thoughts on the opening half?
Well, the offenses have exploded, and the defenses are going to have to find a way to change their schemes and do something here in the second half to slow down the opposing offenses.
Northeastern will get the football to start the second half of play as we head down to the field to rejoin Aaron, who's got a very special guest. Aaron?
Chris, I'm joined by Pasquotank Athletic Director Michael Barlow and a very special guest, his recent son, Eli. Now, this is a crazy week with TV being here, and I mean, a baby 2 days ago?
Yeah, Monday. Monday was the day, and you know, it is a crazy week. We got a lot of people out here, and we're very excited about, obviously, Eli being here and Time Warner Cable.
Something you expected coming into this week?
Due date was Tuesday, so we were a day early. Our whole goal was to either go past the due date or go a little bit early, but right on time, it'll work for me. So we're very excited to have him.
Obviously very well behaved at such a young age. Are you going to keep him here the whole game?
No, he's probably going to go home after halftime. A little chilly out here tonight for him, so we'll get him home, get him warm.
Very cute. It is a little chilly down here, guys, so we're going to let them go get warmed up, and we're going to send it back to you.
Thanks a lot. Great report on the sideline. Good to see little Eli down there as well. 13-point lead for Northeastern here at the break. We're back with second half and halftime coverage right after this.
Did you go to the schoolyard? Where did you look? We can make a plan somehow. He's a smart boy, and he's gonna be okay. Okay, try to call him again. No reception. Everything is down. Try already. Nothing's working. Well, just everything's down. Do you think he's on his way? Please. Is he okay? Laura. Please tell me he's okay. I need you to calm down. What is my baby? This is so bad. He's out there by himself.
Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
The award-winning Pasquotank Marching Band entertaining the patrons here at Pasquotank Stadium at halftime, with Northeastern leading by 13 at the break. Chris Edwards, Jay Sonhalter, and the rest of our great crew. Boy, there were a lot of explosive plays, partner, in that first half. There were a lot of explosive plays in our game last week out in Rowan County, East Rowan and West Rowan. We'll go back and take a look at our play of the week from West Rowan, a touchdown pass from Otto to Houston. Now works from the eye. 5-step drop, looking downfield, heaves one to the end zone. It's caught for a touchdown. Houston, there are no problems this time. Touchdown for the Falcons.
Well, that offensive line holding up the quarterback and plenty of time to throw, and in stride, perfect pass, and Houston able to break free on that corner route. The DBs not able to keep up with the speed of Houston.
Well, Jay, in this first half, with 53 combined points by these two offenses, a lot of explosive plays here in the first half. Let's take a look at some of those first half highlights, and it was really the offensive show for both teams, very balanced efforts, and it started early for Pasquotank on this run for the touchdown by Oatman.
You know, the option that Oatman kept the ball, the offensive line sealing off the right side, an easy touchdown for him to start off the game on that first drive.
So Oatman put his team on the board, then Northeastern had the answer as this set up a touchdown play, another big run by Roundtree.
Well, Roundtree took over, and excellent vision as he ran through, and such a tough runner, even though he's only 5'9", playing quarterback, almost getting into the end zone.
And then the very next play, the first touchdown of the night for Clarence Jones.
Yeah, Clarence Jones, excellent season thus far in this game, and limited opportunities come up big, and on that play coming into the end zone with a touchdown.
And then a 2-score lead for Northeastern thanks to this touchdown toss here from Roundtree. One of 3 touchdown passes in the first half. This one went to Walton, who was ubiquitous in that opening half.
You know, Walton just running straight down the field, up the seam, and perfect play, execution, in stride, going in for the touchdown, and that wide receiver quarterback combo for both teams has really been excellent throughout this ballgame.
Northeastern caught a break with this fumble right here by Jones, and scooping up the football, and that shifted the momentum there midway through that first quarter.
You know, we talked about turnovers being a key for Pasquotank there, and coming up big, going for the football, and flipping the field position, and then coming back here was Northeastern, and Combs, tough running down the sideline.
Yeah, huge run here as Northeastern really balanced offense. We talked about that earlier. A big run there by Combs, who had a touchdown run here in the first half. And here's another nice play by Northeastern to set up a touchdown.
It was a counter play, and Jones running the ball up the middle. Patience, vision again. The offensive line sealing off the D-line and creating a lane.
A couple plays later, Roundtree going back to the air and finds a man for a touchdown, as it was Vaughn who caught one of his 2 touchdown passes tonight.
Well, Vaughn doing on offense and defense, the all-conference performer, sealing off the defender on that slant route.
And Pasquotank had an answer, as over top was Oatman, and he found one of the Cowell brothers for the big score.
You know, and Cowell stepping up huge, flipping the field with his move, going in for the touchdown. Just very easy for them in those one-on-one situations.
Northeastern again have an answer, as you might imagine, leading by 13 points. Another huge catch on the crossing route by Walton.
Well, Roundtree so athletic on that rollout pass, and throwing in stride to Walton and making moves and explosive plays all over the field.
And then a couple plays later, in for the touchdown was Combs, his only rushing score of the night.
You know, Combs just continued to drive, get those tough yardage situations, and producing for his offense going in.
So Pasquotank back to work offensively, still trailing. They go deep down the field as Oatman finds one of the Cowell brothers, who was stopped just shy of the goal line.
Well, that's where they've had the most success, is throwing those balls deep behind the defense, and the Cowell brothers continuing to show off their speed and also coming down with those long passing plays.
Next play, his brother gets in on the action and dots the scoring drive there.
Well, for a series, it went Cowell, back and forth on every single play, and they produced.
But on 4th down and 5, you thought that Northeastern was thwarted. No, a big run this time by Roundtree, picks up 28 yards on 4th and 5.
Roundtree has really been key on 4th down, picking up those tough yards on those draw plays and darting through there to pick up excellent yardage.
On that same drive, they go back to the ground, and guess who? It's Malik Combs setting up this run to get his team down near the goal line.
You know, again, dragging defenders, 4 guys having to bring him down just by the ankles, and Combs, that tough running ability, brings an added dimension to this offense.
And then the final touchdown strike of the half half. This touchdown toss here, another one to Vaughn, his second touchdown reception of the night.
Well, that's so tough when you're sliding down, but keeping your eyes focused on the ball is imperative, and Vaughn did that on that play as he slid down, coming down with the touchdown.
Late in the half, Pasquotank thought they had a chance, but it was, guess who, Walton making the big defensive play, the pick really to end the half.
Well, huge play right there. That could have been a one-possession game, but Walton sealing the first half there with that turnover, flipping the field in, keeping Pasquotank out of the end zone.
Big first half for both these teams. We'll see what halftime adjustments are made, maybe on the defensive side of the football as well. 13-point lead for Northeastern here at the break. More halftime coverage right after this.
This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in North Carolina. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the North Carolina Athletic Directors Association.
Willie Lanier played 11 years in the NFL, but when he was a rookie, a head injury nearly ended his career.
I wish the Gel Defender skull cap was available in 1967. All I could do was stop tackling with my head and put a pad on top of my helmet.
Scientists continue to study concussions, and we know not every injury can be prevented by a pad or helmet. But the Gel Defender skull cap provides an extra layer of safety because it's made of impact gel, proven in lab tests to reduce G-forces during impact. Wear a Gel Defender under any helmet for football, ice hockey, lacrosse, baseball, and softball. Or for extra protection while skateboarding, snowboarding, or biking.
Visit geldefender.com. That's GEL Defender.com. See how you and your family can play it safer.
Halftime lead for Northeastern on the road at Pasquotank with the visiting team up by a couple of scores. Let's head down to the field and talk to Aaron Summers, who's got the Northeastern AD, Duncan Moore. Aaron?
Chris, I'm sure Duncan Moore is pretty excited about how the first half has gone so far, putting up a lot of points.
Yeah, maybe a little more than we want on the other side, but I think it's exciting for everybody to watch. Yeah, there's been a lot of balls flying through the air tonight.
Looks like you brought quite a crowd with you from Northeastern. Community support out there pretty good?
Yeah, so again, 8 miles across town, you knew they would all come out whether we played tonight or tomorrow night. There's a lot of people here.
You showed me the River City Gridiron Classic trophy when I was at school. Pretty confident that that's going to stay there on that shelf?
Well, we hope so. I don't want to sound too overconfident, especially with the score being what it is right now. But we didn't bring it with us, so if they want it, we'll have to bring it to them or they have to come get it later.
You said that there's a running joke that it's bolted to that shelf because it hasn't left there.
Yeah, that's just a joke. We take it out and clean it every now and then. It's not stuck to the shelf.
All right, well, they have a 25-1 record against Pasquotank, but they have never relinquished that trophy, and they're not trying to anytime soon. Chris?
Aaron, thanks a lot. And Aaron, this week had a chance to go deeper into these two programs and highlight some of the stories behind Northeastern and Pasquotank. Let's take a look at Aaron's work from earlier this week.
Football teams face all kinds of adversity, but rarely does it come in the form of a football-related injury to your head coach.
I have about 3 more weeks of rehab to go.
Pasquotank head coach Kendrick Parker ruptured his Achilles celebrating his team's play at a scrimmage just before the season started.
I missed 3 games in the middle of the year. I've been on the sideline for 3 games this year, but I've been in the press box, things of that nature. But that's good. But I haven't been on the sideline at a home game this year, so this will be the first game, a home game, I'll be on the sideline.
After a stint on medical leave, Parker coached the last 2 games on the road. This Thursday, Pasquotank Stadium welcomes Parker back home.
I'm just excited to be back out on the field with my guys. I missed them like crazy when I wasn't here, but like I said, I'm just blessed to be back out here.
With the coaching staff back intact, the team's focused on ending their season on a high note.
We're just trying to win these last 2 games, and hopefully out of the last 2 games we can make it to the playoffs out of that.
At Northeastern, success on the football field is the norm.
One of our former players 4 or 5 years ago, confessed that football out here is a way of life. You work around it. It doesn't work around you.
The long hours on the practice field have paid off to the tune of a 25-1 record against cross-county rival Pasquotank, and kept the River City Gridiron Classic trophy safely on the shelf at Northeastern since day 1.
It's probably dusty. We haven't brought it out in years, so I really didn't even notice it was there until someone said something to me about it a couple of days ago.
Coach Robert Woodley was the athletic director at Pasquotank at the time. Coach Eric McDaniels was our head football coach and athletic director, and they came up with this idea of the River City Gridiron Classic, a trophy that would be passed and forth between the schools, whoever won the conference game.
This year's squad has no intention of turning it over to the Panthers.
Well, we have a lot of confidence that we're going to keep that trophy this year.
We won't want to leave right now. It's been here that long. We might as well stay here.
But don't think the Eagles will sit back and rely on precedent.
Hey, on the ball, please.
13-point lead for Northeastern at the break. We're approaching the second half, and we'll have more right after this from Pasquotank Stadium.
An idea.
I believe in community.
I believe in entrepreneurship.
Small businesses, I believe.
Help weave people and communities together.
I believe in the American dream.
What's even better than dreams is making a dream come true.
SCORE is a nonprofit organization where we provide free business consulting services to people who want to start a business or already in business.
I believe one person can make a difference.
I am that person.
I am that person.
I am a SCORE mentor.
I am a SCORE volunteer.
What do you believe in?
You have a gift to share.
Small business owners need you.
To show them, to give them ideas, to encourage them.
I do what I do because watching other people succeed gives me great joy.
Our client success is our success.
It's like watching your children or grandchildren succeed.
Share your success.
Volunteer your expertise. You've got it. Share it.
Volunteer now at SCORE.org.
Volunteer your expertise
at SCORE.org.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Find fun activities to do, like boating and biking, or camping and hiking, plus much more. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Moments away from the start of the third quarter in a 13-point ball game. Chris Edwards, Jay Sonhalter, Aaron Summers, and the rest of our terrific Time Warner Cable Sports Channel crew with you from Northeastern North Carolina. Jay, let's go back and talk about some of the keys to the second half for both of these teams, with each team really right in the thick of this contest. May come down to a couple of plays for Northeastern, continue to win that special teams battle.
Just winning that battle, trying to put your offense in good field position, and so far so good, and getting off to a fast start. They can come out quickly at a halftime and strengthen this lead. It's going to be tough for Pasquotank to come back. And also for Pasquotank, they've got to slow down that run game with Roundtree and try to make him one-dimensional. And then also their defense must have to continue to create turnovers in that first half. One turnover, they need more to get back into this ball game.
Let's head down to the field and join Aaron Summers, who had a chance to speak with the head coaches at halftime and get their thoughts as we head into the third quarter. Aaron?
Obviously, with a lot of points on the board on both sides, the focus at halftime was on the defense. Coach Moore said that, they know they run that high risk, high reward, but they're not getting any pressure to the quarterback. So he said that's something they're going to focus on in the second half, is really getting that pressure after the QB. Obviously, with the quarterback they have, the Pasquotank head coach is also very focused on Roundtree, and they said that they got to stop that quarterback run and get after him in the second half as well.
Aaron, thanks a lot. Look forward to your reports as we continue on in the second half. And Jay, great insight there from both of the coaches.
Yeah, well, for Coach Moore, he's correct. They're putting a lot of pressure, bringing blitzes, but they're not knocking down Oatman, and that's their goal, is to try to get him down, whether it's a sack or a quarterback rush. And for both quarterbacks, they're really dominating this team, so the defense are getting a lot of pressure on them, and that's really where the focus has to be the second half, is which defense can step up and make the big play.
We talk about getting off to a fast start in our keys a moment ago. Northeastern does get the football to start this third quarter of play, so we'll have a chance to see Northeastern's offense get off to that fast start here in the third quarter. And when you go back and look at the game these two teams played last year, a 42-14 win for Northeastern, but talking to some folks here, it was a game much like this, very close at the half. Northeastern pulled away in half number 2.
Yeah, well, it's all about halftime adjustments. You've got to be able to kind of counter what the opposing team is doing, look back and do what you did well again in the second half, but fix your mistakes.
Ready to start the second half of play from Pasquotank Stadium on a chilly night here in Northeastern North Carolina. It was a beautiful day. Temperature has cooled off a little bit, as you might expect, on a late October evening. Williams will put the ball in play here to start the second half. We saw one of the officials go down in that first half. Aaron's got an update on the umpire, Melvin Watson. Aaron?
Chris, he pulled a hamstring and he is out for the rest of the game. They went ahead and pulled their reserve ref into the game, so they're going to go with the full staff, but unfortunately we're going to be without the starter there.
All right, Aaron, thanks. An aggressive play on the opening kickoff. An onside kick is recovered by Pasquotank, and maybe that's the spark the Panthers needed.
Well, Coach Parker coming out with the trick onside kick, and with the kick, Williams had a nice bounce. And what a changing play of momentum coming right out of the half. Look at him just lined up in an onside kick formation, and Northeastern wasn't prepared, and guess who it was?
Yeah, imagine that. One of the Cow brothers, and a chance for Northeastern, now beg your pardon, Pasquotank, to make this a one-score game. Option to Marcus Cowell, who tiptoes the sideline. There is a flag down from the back judge, so we'll wait and see what the infraction is all about. And Aaron mentioned the reserve official. That's why they carry an extra guy as an observer, just in case someone gets hurt, a guy who can slide into any of those positions like a utility man in baseball.
Yeah, well, important to be prepared, and you never know when an injury is going to occur. And for the referees, they've always got to be ready and know each different position on the field. Excellent job by them calling this game tonight.
Eddie Buffalo, a referee. First foul of the second half. Looks like it may go on. That's an illegal substitution on Northeastern. So there's the 6th penalty already tonight on Northeastern. That's a 5-yard foul. And it's a second down, or I beg your pardon, a first down and 5 for Pasquotank. And this second half could not have started any better for the Panthers.
Well, the home team's coming out, being aggressive, and that's the key for them to be victorious, is come out and make things happen on offense and also on special teams. They're aggressive. It's paying off.
Well, it's actually second down now, according to the down marker. Second down and 3. Clock rolling as we're underway in the third quarter. Handoff, Cow slips, tries to cut, and stop for a gain of maybe a yard. Malik Combs, one of the first men through for this Northeastern defense.
Talked about Combs, successful on offense, stepping up here on defense as well, and Cal limping off the field here. Hopefully he'll be able to shake it off and come back in.
Be a big blow to this Pasquotank offense, as Cal got the carry and tried to cut, getting to that time of night where the dew starts to set in, maybe makes it difficult to cut on that field.
Yeah, and with these weather conditions, the weather changing and getting a little bit cooler, you got to stay fresh and get movement around and stay loose in the cold weather.
Oatman keeps it on the option and is strung out. Not a whole lot of running room there as Northeastern used the sideline as their friend and will bring up 4th down. So after getting some fortuitous breaks to start the quarter, not much doing offensively for Pasquotank.
Well, already a critical 4th down opportunity for Pasquotank early in this second half. And boy, if they can convert here, continue this drive and continue to gain momentum, it's going to be a huge lift to them.
Go to the air here or stick it to the ground?
I would stick it to the ground and give it to one of these fast Cal brothers.
Well, they will go to the air. Pressure on Ottman. He throws downfield. It's tipped it incomplete. And there's a turnover on downs to start the 3rd quarter, and not the start that Pasquotank won.
Well, Northeastern brought the blitz, got pressure on Oatman. He had to get rid of it a little bit too quick, and it was a passing play opportunity. We thought it was maybe going to be on the ground, but a crossing route by Griffin and unable to convert.
Third consecutive incomplete pass by Oatman dating back to the end of the first half. Northeastern will take over from their own 39. 10:21 remaining here in the 3rd quarter, and a 2-score game. Northeastern weathered the storm and now a chance to put up some points of their own. Roundtree fakes the handoff, keeps it, slips past Jackson, and gets across midfield. Or, beg your pardon, gets across the 45 out to the 47. Will be tackled short of the 1st down as Anton Felton in to make the stop.
Well, his defensive front for Pasquotank, very big but also athletic, and see them getting off the blocks. Jackson almost bringing down Roundtree there, but bringing him down not for a big gain, but still excellent job on 1st down by Roundtree.
They give him 8 on 1st down. Back to the ground, it's Clarence Jones who totes the mail for a 1st down into the plus side of the 50. Jones has not been utilized a ton, Parter, just his 4th carry of the night. And a guy that came in, as you mentioned earlier, averaging over 8 yards a carry.
You know, and somebody that's so dependable, getting tough yards, but also has the speed on the outside. And sometimes the first half doesn't go your way. You still have to go into halftime with a positive mindset. And whenever your name and number is called, you've got to be ready.
From the shotgun again, Roundtree. It's Jones again, straight up the middle, slashing defenders. Jones up the seam, big run, and Jones tiptoes into the end zone. Touchdown, Eagle. 2nd rushing score of the game for Jones, a 47-yard scamper, and for the first time tonight, Northeastern leads by 3 scores.
We talked about being ready when your opportunity arises, and Jones on the counter play, staying patient, using his vision, then hitting the hole and hitting it fast, showing off that speed, and boy, what a touchdown there, getting the momentum back, making this lead a lot stronger in a 3-possession ball game.
And after missing a couple extra points, we'll see if Northeastern tries to go for 2 here. And they'll have to burn a timeout as they didn't have the right personnel in the field. So the Eagles call their first timeout of the half. Here's another look at the long touchdown run.
Rolling to the left, that offensive line pulled, and then Jones going in untouched, and then at the end hopping into the end zone. But looking at him jumping, showing off his athleticism, and so many different weapons for Northeastern. They're all stepping up and playing a huge part in this game tonight.
Like my homegirl Taylor Swift says, player gonna play, and that's what Jones did on that run.
Hey, he's playing. He got his opportunity. He's stepping up, and he's playing ball just like Taylor says, Chris. Is that your favorite song?
No, it's up there, though.
It's one of your faves, huh?
Yeah.
It's on your playlist.
It is on the playlist. Yeah, it's on my iPod. Touchdown run, and we'll see what Northeastern elects to do here on this extra point. But if you're Pasquotank, well, you have to feel just devastated after getting all that momentum to start the 3rd quarter, and then all of a sudden you don't get it on 4th down, and Northeastern runs it right down your throat on their first drive of the half.
Yeah, we talked about creating turnovers. We're on that special teams play. That counts as a turnover going in your favor, getting the onside kick, but they haven't been able to convert when they've had those opportunities, and that's really the difference in this game right now. They had a couple, one turnover in the first half, then that onside kick, but they weren't able to score touchdowns. And Northeastern, every time they're getting the ball, they're seemingly going to the end zone.
And they go to the end zone there as Roundtree keeps it on the 2-point run, and and put 2 more points on the board, makes it 41-20, and it's a 3-score lead now, Jay, for Northeastern.
Yeah, and now for Pasquotank, you've got to respond on this drive. You can't let this lead get any further and let this game get out of reach, because Northeastern is just having so much success offensively.
But now if you're Coach Parker on the sideline, what are you telling your troops to rally them down by 3 scores?
So you've got to keep their spirits up, and you've got to tell your offensive line, hey, we need time to protect. And then you just got to take shots down the field again with Cal and Oatman trying to convert on big passing plays. And then you've got to go over to your defense and say, hey, guys, listen, we've got to stop these explosive plays D-line. We need to get more pressure on Roundtree and stop that running game.
Aaron Summers on the sideline reporting that a big blow for this Pasquotank offense. Marcus Crowell, their great wide receiver, out right now with some cramps, and they're having to try and stretch him out. That's a huge blow for this offensive series, and if he can't continue, maybe going forward.
Yeah, well, a huge loss, and hopefully he can come back in, because that two-headed monster with those Cal brothers, it really puts a lot of pressure on that defense, because they've got to contain one out of the backfield and one out wide, and when you take one out, it really helps that defense put more pressure on the other Cal brother, and then they can double team him.
They do have some other playmakers like Tyree Griffin. We've seen Jackson get involved tonight as well, so some of the other folks will have to step up, as Oatman will try and carry the load offensively once Pasquotank gets the football back off this kickoff from Swain. Onside kick. Northeastern trying to return the favor. It's loose on the far sideline, and we'll wait and see who has it. Northeastern picks up the football. Talked earlier about anything you can do, I can do better. The Eagles have the answer, and they'll have a chance to really to put this game away early in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, well, devastating turn of events for Pasquotank. Not getting the ball, Northeastern coming away with it now. Sudden change for this defense of Pasquotank. They need to get going on that side of the ball and try to get a turnover here, because things haven't gone their way after that initial onside kick to start the 2nd half.
And what a play that time, as it was popped into the air by Tivis Vaughn and then picked up by 2 of his teammates. So Vaughn did a nice job just to keep that ball in bounds, and then Northeastern able to recover. They send a man in motion. It's Walton on the carry looking for a block. Has a lane. Flag in. This will come back for a block in the back, as Walton will go into the end zone for a touchdown, but it's heading back after a minimal gain that time, Jay. You can see the block in the back pretty clear, and when I can see the block in the back, you know it's a pretty big infraction.
Yeah, it was very visible right out in the middle of the field, and the referees, they're always going to call that when it's out there, because everybody in the stadium can see it.
So that will back the Eagles up 10 yards on a play that gained about 3. It'll still be 1st down, but now 1st down and long, 3 minutes into the 3rd quarter.
Well, the penalties again starting to come into play for Northeastern. So coming into halftime, many penalties that hurt them in that 1st half, even though they were ahead, not playing disciplined football, and coming out here in the 2nd half, they need to do a better job of cleaning that up, that aspect of their game.
Yeah, 7 penalties already tonight, Jay, and they've been penalized 20 yards, or beg your pardon, 15 yards here in the 2nd half. We've only played 3 minutes of the 3rd quarter. 1st down and 20. 1st and all the way back to Highway 64 for the 1st down. And confusion here for Northeastern as they check the wristbands that Aaron highlighted in the 1st half. Roundtree hands it away to Jones, who had the touchdown run earlier in the quarter. Jones up the middle, slashing tackles, has the penalty yards back, and then a little more, makes it 2nd down and very manageable after a huge 1st down run.
Well, this offense continues to amaze me, just their ability to be explosive. All these guys they have making big plays. It's 1st and long. You say, oh, wow, Pasquotank has the advantage, and then all of a sudden they just flip it. Now it's 2nd and short.
Another look.
And Jones getting his opportunity. Look at that lane created by the offensive line. So then Jones is doing the rest after initially being contacted and making a couple extra moves.
2nd down and short. Roundtree heaving it deep downfield, looking for Overton. Tipped and incomplete. A nice play defensively by Avon James, one of the backup corners, who already has 1 interception this year, almost picked up another.
Anytime that ball gets tipped, it's up for grabs, and looking for Pasquotank, it went and down and hit the ground. And here another 3rd down opportunity, but really we've seen thus far in this game on 3rd and short, if they don't convert here, they're going to go for it on 4th.
Well, and you have to feel pretty confident if you're Northeastern, a chance to pick up 3 yards on 2 plays, no matter what you run here. Back to the ground, and Jones 3 plus how many more? Jones shedding tackles, got a clean block this time, lowers his head and picks up a few extra yards. It'll be first down and 10 from inside the 15.
Well, and right now for Pasquotank, they're staying on the block. So what I mean is, once they're getting hit at the line of scrimmage, they're not shedding that offensive line. They're just staying blocked. It's much too easy for this offensive line, and then also the running backs with the easy run by Jones up here. Excellent job of finding that lane and then eluding the tacklers and picking up as much yards as he could.
First down and 10. They mark him at the 11 officially, so Northeastern can achieve a first down right around the 1. Jones shedding tackles, gets past the first line, gets past the second line, but Lorenzo Morgan has played a nice game on the defensive line up to make the hit.
Yeah, Morgan showing up, but once again a big kid down there and still a young player. And as this Northeastern offense drives, they're trying to wear out this Pasquotank defense.
Only got 2, second down and 8. Under 7 to go in the third quarter, and Jones, rightfully so, needs a blow and gets a lot of pat on the backs on that sideline.
It's always good to go over to the sideline and see your teammates get excited, get some Gatorade and water, refreshed, and then go back into the ballgame.
Coombs spells him at the running back. McKenna in motion. Roundtree flicks it to the end zone. It's tipped and incomplete again off the hands of Overton. Shy of the goal line. Another nice play defensively by Pasquotank.
Roundtree once again, look at that time. I mean, the offensive line holding up very well, winning that battle, but unable to convert.
Third down and 9. What's the play call here, Jay? You're obviously in field goal range, but if you're Northeastern, are you thinking 2-down territory?
Well, it's 2-down territory, and we haven't seen the draw play from Roundtree here in a couple drives, and so much success in the first half with that play.
3rd and 9. Roundtree has been most of the half from the shotgun. It's Combs, tries the outside, and he stops short of the first down marker. He stays in bounds and brings up 4th and short, and we'll see what Coach Moore elects to do here.
Well, we've seen Combs come into the game and do very well once they get into the red zone with those tough yards and going to him in that 3rd down play. And here another critical play for this Pasquotank defense.
Antonio Moore coaching his team up. They're going to trot the offense back on the field. Another look at a tough run by Combs.
You know, the counter play again, really doing a job there on that offensive line, holding up, and then Combs finding the hole.
4th down, 3 to go. Halfway through the third quarter, under center. Handoff goes to Jones to the outside. Jones in for the 3rd time tonight. An exclamation point for the Eagles as they're starting to pull away.
Well, we talked about Jones not getting a lot of opportunities. All of a sudden, 3 touchdowns. That's a pretty good ball game so far. Only in the third quarter, this lead starting to lengthen out now for Pasquotank. They're going to have to do something here to get back in this game. Try to change up their schemes on defense and then get something going through the air because Northeastern's really come out on fire here after halftime.
And again, Northeastern going to leave the field goal unit on the sideline. They're going to try and punch in another 2-point conversion. Full house as they go from the eye. Jones gets the carry and in untouched. 2-point conversion is good, and just like that, it's 49-20 in favor of Northeastern, and we've still got almost a quarter and a half left to go, and another easy score this time by Jones.
Well, Jones getting the tough yards, and boy, how this game has turned. It was 33-20 with Pasquotank driving there, closing out the second quarter through that interception. Since then, it's been all Northeastern, 29 points unanswered. Jones getting going, getting into rhythm, and showing why he's such a talented back, averaging over 8 yards per carry coming into this game, the #1 rusher on their team.
You know what's impressed me is the different ways that Northeastern can beat you. We saw in the first half, yes, they ran it a lot with Roundtree, but they also slung it around the field a whole lot. And here in the second half, it's been more line up and run it right at you. They've got so many different ways that they can beat you. So if you stop the run, they still got the pass.
Well, who do you stop?
Right.
I mean, we've mentioned Combs, Vaughn, Walton, Roundtree, Jones, et cetera, et cetera. That puts so much pressure on the defense, and who do you game plan to stop? You can't stop all of them.
It'd be tough to do that.
Hey, you'd have to have a great defensive mind to stop all of them, and we can see why they're having so much success. They're using them in a lot of different ways.
6-2 already to start the season, and a team that has failed to win 7 or more games only twice since 2000. Another onside kick, and this one goes out of bounds and will be good field position for Pasquotank. Let me say that again. Since 2000, Northeastern has won 7 games or more in every season except for 2, 2003 and 2007.
They haven't had any off years. I mean,
No.
They've been unbelievable. The program's been stable of excellent players continuing to develop, and just every year they continue to have great years and go on long playoff runs.
They've won 10 games or more every year since 2010, and have won 7 or more, as we mentioned, every year since 2008. Unmatched success in this area.
They don't know how to lose.
Right.
I mean, that's what it comes down to.
So they're going to wave off the flag. It'll be Pasquotank football. Just the second offensive series for Pasquotank here in the second half. Their first drive ended when they went for it on 4th down and failed to convert. Oatman will send Michael Cowell in motion. Pocket collapsing, heaves one down the field, underthrown it off the hands of Griffin, and incomplete. Had 2 receivers in the neighborhood, and it appeared like both were a little trepidatious on going for the football.
Yeah, well, they didn't know where the ball was going to, and they tried to kind of shied away from each other. And on that type of play, there's always got to be spacing. So somebody must have run the wrong route on that play. 2nd
down and 10. And if you're Pasquotank, do you have to continue to take shots down the field, just try to find a way to claw back in this game?
Yeah, you've got to take the shots, because this defense, if you try to move the ball meticulously down the field, it's much too tough, and the clock isn't on your side. 29 points down, you've got to be fast-paced and make the big play.
Whitby makes the catch, makes 2 men miss. It leaps over a defender and has a first down to the 37. Shamel Whitby with the catch, 16 catches on the season for 220 yards. That's his first catch tonight as he gains a first down for the Panthers.
This is a quick wide receiver screen. The defense playing back, plenty of room for Whitby, making the move and getting the first down.
14-yard completion that time from Oatman to Whitby. And they're on the doorstep of the blue zone here with 5:10 to go in the quarter. Marcus Cowell back in there after that cramping problem a moment ago. He's in motion, flipping it down the field for Cowell. Flag is in. It's too long for Cowell, and we'll wait and see what the infraction is. Hold is the preliminary indication on Pasquotank. Just the second time that Pasquotank's been called for a penalty, so they've been pretty good with their discipline. That one comes at an inopportune time.
Well, first holding play, that offensive line facing so much pressure, so they're doing a good job of holding up and playing discipline up there. Some pressure has gotten through, but the O-line, for the most part, doing a really good job giving time for Oatman to throw the ball.
One more look at the replay. If you look on the right-hand part of your screen, Lance Shaber, the 5'9" junior, the guilty party there.
And Oatman giving an opportunity to Cowell through the air a little bit too long, and the flag came down, so it wouldn't matter, but having confidence in your wide receivers.
Isn't that the life of an offensive lineman? You do the dirty work. You never get praised for the good plays. We only show you when you have a holding penalty.
Yeah, it's always unfair to the big guys,
Spoken like a fullback over here.
Yeah, well, I'm a tight end fullback, so I get the best of both worlds. I'm considered a wide receiver and an offensive lineman, so.
True. Man in motion. It's Michael Cowell on the end around, needing a block, leapfrogs a defender, and picks up a chunk of yards, gets most of the penalty yardage back, and will bring up a 2nd down and long for Pasquotank.
For Pasquotank here, coming off of that 3rd quarter where their defense gave up many long drives, giving their defense now some time to rest and also moving the ball down the field, trying to get points on the board.
2nd down, we'll call it 13. 3 men to the top of your screen. Oatman, quick out. as it's hauled in by Whitby, who made the 14-yard reception a minute ago and gets pushed down after a fairly big gain that time. Folks go tumbling on the sideline. It's been a tough night to be on the field of play or around the field.
The same wide receiver screen. The DB's playing back Whitby enough room. That type of play, most times you're not going to get a big gain, but you're always going to get 5 or 6 yards once you catch the ball because the DB's playing safe and giving you room to operate.
Kind of piggybacking on that thought, with the DB giving you room, is that just because Northeastern knows, hey, I'm up by a 49-20 margin and I'm going to let you throw it underneath and nickel and dime me down the field?
Exactly, because you don't want to give up the big play, because the big play is how Pasquotank is going to come back in this game. You're not going to worry about the gains that's 5 or 6 yards, because that's going to continue to bleed the clock.
Some miscommunication there in the backfield, and Oatman goes down. Had that read option, a couple options there for Oatman, and then really decided too late that he wanted to keep the football, and fortunate for him, he didn't fumble.
Yeah, it's always important to protect the football, and right here, running through there, didn't give it, and then the defense just was focused on him, and such a big target. Important for him to hold on the ball, and really did a good job of just getting down with it.
Well, down 49-20 and facing a 4th down and all the way to Edenton, they're going to go for it. Trips to the left for Oatman. Goes back to pass. Pressure. Home run ball down the field. It's juggled and incomplete. Off the fingertips of Griffin, or check that of Cowell, who almost made another spectacular play.
When Overton in coverage, Oatman time lofting the ball down pretty close to a perfect throw. Just unable to convert. That would have been a huge play for Pasquotank.
That would have been the play that they needed to get back in this game. And now we'll see the Northeastern offense on the field again. It seems like in this third quarter, the Northeastern offense has almost pitched to 10 on the field. They've been out there so much.
Yeah, well, for them, that offense, coming out of halftime, the adjustments, the O-line stepping up even more, and them getting their ground attack going. And here, with a 29-point lead, time on your side, you want to continue to develop that running game and let this clock continue to dwindle down, and you've had success on the ground thus far.
McKenna in motion, handoff to Jones, has had a big third quarter, and Jones fights ahead to the 46-yard line, where he picks up 6 yards and brings up 2nd and short. Just 11 carries tonight for Jones. He's got 3 scores. Only had 14 carries last week for 72 yards, but a guy that makes the most of his opportunities for sure.
You know, we talked about Jones's success, but 6'1", 205, impressive athlete and specimen out there, and his speed has been evident tonight, but also his tough running ability, and many guys it takes 2 or 3 guys to bring him down because he's so strong as he runs through the hole.
4 wide receivers for Northeastern. Roundtree, too tall for his receiver on the far side of the field. Would have been a first down as he was looking for Vaughn, who's got a couple of touchdown catches tonight. Just as we mentioned earlier, so many weapons are not afraid to take a shot on 2nd down because they know, hey, we've got 2 chances to get 4 yards, and I like our opportunity to do that.
Well, they'll take opportunities down the field because they know on 3rd and 4th down, they've got a quarterback that can throw it and run it, and he's had success on the ground, especially on 4th down.
What's the play call here? Do you go back to Jones, or do you think they still air it out?
I think you give the ball back to Roundtree and let him run with it.
Well, right on the button, are you, partner? As Roundtree up the middle, thrown down at the 45-yard line after a first down. Move the chains again for Roundtree. That's his 20th carry of the night.
I have a feeling he may get up to 30 as this ball game goes forward.
One more look.
Quarterback draw. Look at that O-line. Again, plowing through there and giving room for their quarterback.
Lance Shaber, the backup linebacker, there to make the stop. 4 wide receivers as Roundtree surveys the landscape defensively. Pressure coming, has time. Underthrew his receiver, looking for Vaughn again. It's incomplete. Roundtree's got a good arm, Jay, but he's just not able to maybe to hit the guys on some of those long passes down the sideline.
Yeah, those tough passing plays down the sideline are always tough for a quarterback because not only are you throwing it deep, but you're throwing it across the length of the field.
Let's go down to the field and rejoin Aaron Summers, who's got more on the Northeastern head coach, Antonio Moore.
Coach Moore not only is coaching here, but he also played here, and he played for the all-time winningest coach, Eric McDaniels. But Coach Moore is very close to joining him in a tie for that position with 112 wins. So Coach Moore just needs 2 more, and then he'll match his former coach as the all-time winningest coach in Eagles history.
Thanks, Aaron. And with Clarence Jones running back there in the backfield, he's got a great chance to get a little closer tonight, already up by 29 points, and Jones doing the work on the ground here in the third quarter.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns already. He's trying to get 4, and again, look at him running through that hole, showing off his speed and high knees and carrying the Pasquotank defense on him as he continues to march forward.
High knees, just like you back in the day, right?
Yeah, now my knees don't get as high.
Jay, he's going to be modest, a former standout at East Carolina.
Well, Chris, we're both athletes.
Toss to the end zone and another touchdown for Northeastern. It's Darius Walton, the super sophomore, with his 2nd touchdown grab of the night. I beg your pardon, that's Tyleek Overton. So many guys. Overton makes the catch, his 1st touchdown catch of the night, 4th of the year.
Well, the whole offense getting involved again. Roundtree, the signal caller, out of the backfield. Excellent ball. Overton walking underneath it for the easy touchdown. Northeastern starting to break free here in this 3rd quarter.
2nd catch of the night for Overton, 39 yards receiving. Not bad, 2 catches and 39 yards, right? And they come on for the extra point. Flags litter the playing field before the play starts, as encroachment caught against Pasquotank, and that'll make the try a little bit easier. So the penalty is half the distance, so ball's like 1.5 yard line. Should be pretty makeable here for Swain, who drills it right through the uprights. 56-20, Northeastern has the lead.
That's started out the half 33-20. Now Northeastern just taking a strong hold of this lead and starting with their quarterback. Look at this throw. Perfect spot for Overton, over the shoulder. Completion in the corner of the left end zone.
And one more look at the touchdown toss. This one, a great way to dissect the touchdown pass.
Look at this pocket. Plenty of time. The offensive line staying in front of the D-line. That's as perfect as a throw as it gets, Chris.
We talked a few minutes ago about Roundtree maybe not being great on those deep balls, but showcased the poise and the touch there. A little finesse on that toss.
I think he hurt us.
Maybe
he proved us wrong.
Yeah. Well, a lot of folks prove us wrong, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, we're here to motivate, and we're trying to motivate him. Good job by him putting it in the perfect spot. And boy, he's been on fire tonight and just really stepping up. And we've heard so much about him coming into this game and his ability on the ground and through the air. And boy, he's everything we've heard and more.
Well, now if you're Pasquotank, trailing by a fairly large sum here, do you now think about just trying to get better for next week and gaining some momentum for the regular season finale?
Well, you need to close out this game on a strong way and try to get some confidence, because right now you can start off this game in contention, but then now the second half is getting away from you. So a lot of positives take away thus far, but right now you're down on the scoreboard. You've got to find a way to get something going, especially on defense too. But now getting the ball on offense, you've got to march down the field with a touchdown.
Swain, we'll see if he kicks it deep or goes the onside route again. They will like to boot this one deep, where it's Cowell who lets it hit and now looks for a return and scooped up by one of the upmen. That was very dangerous for Pasquotank and almost resulted in another turnover.
Well, that's the key word thus far in the second half on special teams, is dangerous. I mean, we see these onside kicks, these kicks that are getting fumbled, so that's the hidden part of the game, the third dimension special team, and that's why it's so critical each and every week.
Northeastern, after their victory over Eatonton last week, a 1-point victory, they're starting to receive votes in the Associated Press poll this week. Ranked as high as number 7 in the 2A by NC Prep, so a team that's definitely on the radar of a lot of statewide publications, and many believe a team that's poised for a very deep playoff run. Pasquotank trying to get something going on offense. Tosses down the field and too long, as they were trying to hit one of the new wide receivers into the game, Brian Jones, a 6'2 sophomore, but it's incomplete. And the thing that sticks out to me for Pasquotank is you hear a freshman, sophomore, junior, just really, really young are the Panthers here in 2015.
No, Jones is sophomore.
Yeah.
He just has so many guys that are going to continue to develop, and so now in this ball game, we see these guys gain more experience. That's going to help them throughout the season, but also into the following years.
Oatman with the pocket collapsing, going downfield again, and too long for Griffin. And it appears like the strategy now for Pasquotank is just chuck it up and see if someone can catch it as they try and claw their way back into this game.
You know, they need to be explosive, but for Northeastern, their strategy's changed a little bit. Now, instead of bringing more pressure, they're putting more guys in the secondary to help them out because they know for Pasquotank they've got to hit long, deep balls. So there's not as much blitzing schemes going on now as this lead is getting bigger.
And quickly, third down for Pasquotank. Obviously, 4-down territory here, probably for the remainder of the game, right?
Yeah, they've got to go for it every time, and that offensive line, it needs to hold up.
Oatman again down the field, and again incomplete. Oatman has only had one completion here in the second half. He's 1 for 5, and is 4 straight incomplete passes.
Well, that's really been the key. His wide receivers and him haven't been able to connect, and the defense of Northeastern stepping up. We talked about halftime adjustments. Northeastern's done that, especially on the defensive side.
And the 4 straight incompletions is primarily, correct me if I'm wrong, but primarily because Northeastern knows Pasquotank is going to be one-dimensional for the remainder of the game, right?
Yeah, and they saw in the first half what was working. It was throwing the ball to Cal and then Williams down the middle. So they've made measures to change that. They put more guys in the secondary and not leaving their cornerbacks in one-on-one coverage.
Williams on to punt. He's been to some kicking camps and has a chance to kick at the next level. Nearly had that one blocked as he sends one to midfield and returnable for Walton, who dances down inside the 40-yard line. Another short field for Northeastern as they look to put more points on the board.
Well, winning the special teams battle, the field position area has gone in their favor, and Pasquotank trying to flip the field. Pretty good punt, but the hang time allowed Northeastern to get a return.
I haven't seen Northeastern rush the kicker much tonight, but did on that time and nearly resulted in a blocked punt. Northeastern leads the all-time series 25-1 and looks like they're poised for victory number 26. Only Pasquotank win came in an overtime affair, 39-33 back in 2007. As they go back to the ground to start this drive, and fighting off defenders for a first down is Clarence Jones. But here's the kicker, that overtime victory. First, the replay.
Well, this play, who's it going to again? Jones, that offensive line, continuing to block their defenders. I mean, none of those defenders are getting off their blocks, and that's why it's so easy for the running backs.
Finishing up the thought, here's the kicker. Pasquotank has never had the River City Gridiron Classic trophy because the trophy only changes place in conference games, and that was not a conference affair. This one is tonight, and Roundtree showcasing the skills for another rushing score. That's the 5th rushing touchdown for Northeastern tonight. But hold the phone, there is a flag, and holding will be called against the Eagles, so take the touchdown off the board for the moment.
Well, that's one area where Coach Moore can go back, regroup with his team this week and focus on the penalties, because a little bit too much for his liking now, creeping up towards 10 penalties on this ball game. That's an area they can look forward to improving.
Yeah, 8 penalties tonight. 25 yards called against them here in the second half alone. A couple of 15-yard fouls in there as well. This one a 10-yard hold with half a minute to go here in the third quarter. They'll mark the penalty off. Actually, they marked off a couple of penalties there. It was holding against Northeastern and a unsportsmanlike conduct also against the Eagles, as 2 fouls were called and a timeout called by Pasquotank with 30 seconds left in the half. Not a ton to cheer about for the Pasquotank cheerleaders, but they were certainly involved in this game early in what was a 13-point game at the break.
That first half very well played. Both teams going back and forth, and kind of we use the boxing analogy as kind of like a fighter's throwing a punch and the other boxer responding there, but the second half has been all Northeastern.
So now with Northeastern backed up near midfield, Jay, just continue to run your same offense?
Yeah, I mean, you've had success on the ground, and I don't think it really causes any alarm, even though it's 1st and a mile. You've had guys stepping up on these situations because of the penalties previously in this ball game. They've been in this situation. They still have the ability to pick up that 1st down.
Roundtree, the preseason conference player of the year, and maybe making a case to be the postseason conference player of the year. I can't imagine there are many more dynamic players in this conference than him.
He's impressive. How do you stop him? He can do it on the ground and through the air.
They will operate on 1st down and 22. From inside the 50 still, Roundtree going deep downfield, leaping up and knocked away. Trying to hit Vaughn again, but it's batted away. And still playing hard defensively there is Pasquotank. And a nice job by James, who's had a big game in the second half as a defensive back.
Yeah, well, they're still continuing to mix that run in the pass. They're not being content just running the ball, trying to take shots down the field. James holding up there, but the ball going to Vaughn. A deep passing play again down the sideline where they've had a lot of success.
James has been very aggressive defensively tonight, has a nose for the football.
The 5'10" junior playing very well.
3 deflections this half as a sack that time in the open field. A nice play by Pasquotank as throwing Roundtree for a loss with a flag down was Anthony Guerin. But let's wait and see what the laundry on the field is all about. It's a face mask. Personal foul face mask caught on Pasquotank, the 3rd penalty of the night on the Panthers. That's a 15-yard foul and will go on Guerin, who threw the quarterback down, just grabbed his face mask to help aid in the tackling process.
Yeah, well, that's another one of those penalties where it's in the open field. It's so easy for the referees to see it wide open, catching the right side of that mask, and really turned his head, brought him down, and not a good play right in front of the official.
So they give some yardage back. Final moments of this 3rd quarter. And I don't think Northeastern will get a playoff. Oh, they do, barely. They'll heave it over the middle of the field, and it's batted away again. Looking for Walton, but a nice play by Darius Dunston to swat it away. And we'll have a 3rd down coming up when the 4th quarter begins. It's a big lead for Northeastern. This is the Time Warner Cable Sports Channel Game of the Week.
What's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Down and long for Northeastern as we start this 4th quarter, along with Jason Halter and Aaron Summers. Chris Edwards with you from Pasquotank Stadium in the northeastern part of the Tar Heel State. Roundtree continues in the game at quarterback with Coombs to his right. Over the middle, a slant is deflected and incomplete. Looking for Overton there over the middle, but it was one of the Cowell brothers making the play defensively. 4th down, forthcoming for the Eagles.
When the ball's in the air, as a defender, you always want to get your hands up, the D-line getting pressure, and multiple guys in the secondary. Cowell there with the coverage, and then also getting his hand up. Causing some confusion was Anthony Guerin, the linebacker. But it's tough to bring it down when you, as a receiver, you see guys flashing their arms up. It's really hard to read the ball.
As a coaching staff, when do you elect to pull Roundtree out of the game, knowing this game is well in hand?
Well, for him, you want to get him into the fourth quarter. Even though this game's in hand right now, you want to let him finish off this drive, and then you can look to pull him and get him rest.
Roundtree just darting ahead. Stop for virtually no gain, maybe a yard. So the Pasquotank defense holds and will send the offense onto the field, trying to get something going offensively.
Well, the defense stepping up finally here, getting some success, and the pressure swarming to Roundtree, nowhere for him to go, and coming down with him was a multitude of guys.
But I think a lot can be taken away from this game if you're Pasquotank. You know, we talked about it very early, how this was an offense that after